you get a chance to come back and try and win another one. It's the Orioles on Masson as they try and make it 2 in a row over the Blue Jays tonight here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. The O's coming away with an impressive and an earned victory in extra innings last night. For the Orioles under Buck Showalter, the numbers continued to be, well, sensational. It was the 5th walk-off win since Buck Showalter has taken over. That is the most in the major leagues during that time span since the 3rd of August. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne. The Orioles found a way after they had lost 12 in a row against Toronto. And now tonight, Jake Arrieta will try and make it 2 in a row. For the Orioles, the discussion has been about their pitching, especially the young starters. How many of them are going to continue to be in the rotation for the remainder of the year? What we've talked about all season long, what the manager just talked about is, how many innings have they pitched in the past, and how many more can we go above that in order to do them justice this season? There are the numbers in 2010 innings pitched, previous career highs. Certainly Guthrie all right, Millwood all right, Ryan Mattis right there at the exact number. Jake Arrieta, that's one of the big question marks. He has already gone over the innings pitched. Ferguson and Tillman, the other two who will be looked at in that regard. Jim Palmer, you have been there. There's no magic formula for how many to go. What do you think?
No, there isn't, but I think what most general managers wanted, no more than 20, 25 innings than the year before. Now, my opinion as a guy that pitched close to 4,000 innings is that if you don't pitch a little bit when you're tired, you never really learn to pitch when you're tired. And if you don't learn to pitch when you're tired, when your mechanics, are good, but maybe your arm doesn't have the kind of strength, you don't really learn how to pitch. And that's what I think the big change since Buck is a couple of extra pitches, give them a chance, they settle down, make your pitches later in the ball game, and it's been working.
All right, Jake Arrieta is trying to see how far he can go this year, and for the Orioles, they hope tonight that it will be a good, solid, deep performance as the O's try and make it 2 in a row. When we come back, we'll be set to go first pitch on a beautiful early fall night. It's on. Another absolutely gorgeous night here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Let's take a look at our train game time temperature. Blue skies all about, and it's 77 degrees. Visit trainsearch.com to locate an independent train dealer near you. It's hard to stop a train. Last night for the Orioles, needed someone to come on after Brian Mattis came out of the ballgame after only one, and Rick Vandenherk was the one called upon, and the manager, Buck Showalter, said last night, what a performance.
Probably the key to the game was the job that Vandy did tonight. It's pretty impressive. You know, it's a tribute to him and Cranny and the work they do to keep him sharp in between, 10 days since he's pitched in a game, I believe. And that was impressive.
And it was the longest relief outing for the Orioles on the season. And Vanderhoek was just sensational in giving the Orioles a chance to pick up a win in that ball game in an extra innings. That is exactly what they did. All right, we get set for this one. Let's take a look at the starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines for Cito Gaston's Jays. Snyder, Escobar, and Bautista. Wells, Overbay, and Hill. Lind, Buck, and Encarnacion. Vernon Wells, last 10. 324, 4 home runs, and 9 RBIs for the veteran.
And our PNC scouting report on Jake Arrieta and what he needs to do to achieve success tonight. Well, good company. Until the line drive off Brian Mattis' arm, they had 6 quality strikes in a row. More strikes, less balls, as again, he's only walked 1 in his last 2 starts. And then why not you go solo? We saw last night this team, when we talk about the Blue Jays, they lead the world in home runs. They did hit 1 home run last night, but it was a solo shot by Encarnacion. So go solo if you can.
Heard that before, but it's not worked out that way. Just another absolutely gorgeous evening here. Jake Arrieta, there are the numbers. More hits than innings pitched. The walk and strikeouts are exactly the same. Do not see that very often where they are even up. But Arrieta's gotten much better in that regard to his favor as the number of walks have declined here in the last few starts, as Jim said. So Arrieta will look to make it 2 in a row, and as Jim says, a mound of evidence.
Well, it really is. I mean, look at the difference what's going on. Again, you have a young pitching staff that is maturing, throwing more strikes, having more of a chance. The bullpen, the record better. The ERA, there's been a couple of meltdowns. Simone has not pitched well, so he's been used sparingly. And then again, Koji's back. Gonzalez is back, and Koji's been terrific. 9 out of 10 saves when it comes to coming in and giving the team a chance to win. So, again, even when you score 3 runs or less, 3 and 54, but 5 and 10 because of the good pitching under Buck Showalter.
Only 24 years old, the right-hander under Buck Showalter, 25 and 15 for the Orioles, 7 and 6 against the Eastern Division teams. The Orioles have a chance tonight to win their 4th series. If they can get this game, it'll guarantee them their 4th series win in a row. And that has not happened since 2004. And we are underway. Travis Snyder, the leadoff batter, playing in left field, had an 0 for 5 in the ballgame last night. He's right now in an 0 for 9. And the young hitter will take a strike from Arrieta.
Yeah,
and 1-1.
Yeah, very aggressive young hitter. And the more you see him, the more you realize he's done a whole lot of different than a lot of other young hitters where they just think they have to swing at everything.
He does, and it's caught. Welcome, Mr. Andino to second base with Brian Roberts out.
Well, let's take a look at our defense. We've already identified our second baseman, Robert Andino, on that hanging changeup. Nice play. Wigington is Turris, Bell. That's the infield. P.A. Jones and Markakis around the outfield. And then Matt Wieters, who has been having a very good month of September, as he did last year, behind the plate.
Brian Roberts on the bench tonight. Not ready to go, and doesn't look like they intend to use him at all in this ball game tonight. So Brian being rested, and we'll see whether or not that turns into a more than 1 game situation for Brian. He wanted to come out of the ball game last night, wanted to stay in, but just could not do it, and had a very good night again. Escobar will take that pitch down low, and a 1-ball-1-strike count. Yanel Escobar, the shortstop, had a very solid night last night. He ended up with a 3 for 5 against the Orioles, now hitting .406 this year. with a home run and 7 RBIs. It's being picked up in the Atlanta Braves. Escobar has been a different looking player to the delight of the Blue Jay organization. Arrieta with a 2-1 delivery to him, and Escobar will swing through that one. 2-2.
Yeah, that's really his strength. A two-seamer. I mean, a guy that got 3 hits last night. And again, red hot, 355. He gets his pitch, but the good sink, unable to get to it. That's really where Jake Arrieta is going to make his living in the big leagues. He's got about as good as curveballs as anybody on the staff, but you saw Escobar lay off him. I think you throw the same pitch now, he may not do that.
2-2 delivery on the way. Escobar will take it outside, and the count will go to 3-2. It's what we were talking about. 1 walk in his last 2 starts. He had at least 2 walks in each of the first 15. So much better control, getting ahead of hitters. Here's the 3-2 delivery, and Escobar will pop that one up to shallow right field. Marquez coming hard. Look out! Can't be caught. And it was the fear of the collision. Marquez very close to Andino. Andino got it in the glove, but could not hang on to it. And you know Marquez is doing more than just looking at the turf as they stand there.
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very routine play because of the depth here in right field if Andino gets out of the way. But they don't communicate. They didn't hear each other. Marquez is either not yelling loud enough. So again, you play so shallow here because that's just the nature of playing right field at Camden Yards.
So a runner on, that will go as a base hit.
But you make a very valid point about the collision. When you get that close,
you hear footsteps. Yep. Bautista will foul it away. He had an 0 for 4 in the ball game last night. Did not hit the ball particularly hard and spent a lot of time looking at third base. He popped out to third once, grounded out to third once, hit into a double play 5-4-3 once, and then popped out to short.
Yeah, a couple of home run swings. He was talking about those at the cage today, and again, he just goes up there, only hitting 190 in the month of September, but 3 home runs to add to that total to 46.
Bautista, of course, the leader in the majors in home runs, with 46 coming into the ball game. And the throw over will get Escobar back to the bag. For Bautista against the Orioles, he has had 6 home runs and a team leading 15 RBIs. He's batting .314 against the Orioles this year. Cito Gaston's team 2 games above 500. Coming into this one, they've had their struggles in September. They are 4-8 this month. And Bautista will take the pitch. It will miss inside, and a 2-ball 1-strike count. Jose Bautista with 46, Canerco 10 behind him, and Cabrera, Hamilton, and Mark Teixeira. The home run title all but sewed up, at least league-wise, for Bautista. Arrieta with a 2-1. Long look over. Another one of those pop-ups. First base side. Wigginton. He's got it. Bautista's retired.
Yeah, he won the no-touch award last night. He's kind of laughing about it because the Orioles end up winning an 11 4-3. But he made a great play to his left and then another pop right. I said, you got to use a wider glove. He just laughed.
We said last night, that's the game of baseball right there. Great play on one pitch, the very next pitch, just a little easy pop-up gets dropped. And Ty was like today, he said, you're absolutely right. He said, that is the game of baseball. He says, just when you think, maybe I got this thing figured out, the baseball gods go, whoa, yeah, well, watch this. Here's Vernon Wells, 2 down. Wells has got a 4-game hit streak. He continued it last night with a 1 for 4 in the ball game for Wells. Extra base hit department, Bautista leading it in the American League. Vernon Wells was 71, 10 behind. Quick throw over and almost caught Escobar leaning.
Yeah, they don't run a lot. They're only 50 steals on the year. Pretty good percentage, 50 being caught 19 times. But one thing about Jake Arrieta, big guy at 6'4", they have been successful, 10 out of 11.
Escobar does not have a stolen base since coming over to the Jays. With Atlanta, he was 5 for 6.
Yeah, but I think with 2 outs, and you worry more about the guy at the plate, especially Wells, who's healthy this year, and with 1 swing can make it 2-0, 27 home runs.
if you go here, you better make it.
Yep.
2-0 count on Vernon Wells, and Wells will swing through a good low heater. And a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Kind of an uncomfortable swing that time for Vernon Wells.
Well, we've seen it on a couple of hitters where he's been able, and again, when he gets over his front side, and one thing about Jake, he'll just get out a little bit too far and land on the heel and recoil, but when he gets on top of his stuff, it's dynamic stuff, especially the fastball because it has good sink.
Wells third in the league with doubles at 41, swung out and missed.
And I think that the more experience you get as a pitcher, the more you get used to reacting to the way the hitter reacts to you. And when you get into a good fastball hitting count with a good fastball hitter at the plate like Vernon Wells, and he takes those two swings at your heater, it tells you something.
He asked the umpire, was it a strike after that last swing? 2-2 delivery on the way. He's going to punch that one where they weren't playing. Markakis up with it. Escobar will stop at second base. Wells has got a 5-game hit streak as he defies the defense by putting it to the other side of Andino, who's moved towards second base.
Yeah, 3 straight fastballs in the third one, just up a little bit, and Vernon Wells takes advantage of it.
Lyle Overbay coming up. For Jake Arrieta, this is his first start. He has never faced the Blue Jays. Here at Camden Yards, 8 starts. He's 1-3. ERA at home of 5.4. Last 3 home starts, he's lowered that ERA down to a 2.79 number in the last 3 games that he's pitched here.
Well, we always talk about the first inning being such a difficult one. He hung a changeup, and Snyder lined it to second base, so you lose confidence in that pitch. Hasn't gotten a curveball over, hasn't gotten a slider over. So it's not about velocity. That one, I mean, easily thrown in 96. It's just a matter that you're trying to find what you have in the first, and whether you're young or old, that's hard to do sometimes.
Lyle Overbay and an 0 for 4 last night. 1-0 count to him. Hitting .247 on the year. We're going to keep an eye on Arrieta with an enormous difference that exists between that 1-0 count and that 0-1 count. After 0-1, opponents hit .232. After 1-0, they hit .346. So we are keeping track of that tonight, and we'll let you know as we go along what it looks like. Here's the 2-0 delivery on the way. That'll be down low. Wieters will stop it, and he falls behind now on Overbay, 3-0.
And that's that changeup we talked about. I think another real distinct difference is that righties hit him at 218, and lefties, like Overbay, they hit him at 100 points higher, 318.
7 home runs to the lefties, 2 to the right-handers. See if Overbay's got a green light. 3-0 delivery, and he takes it for a strike. So it goes to 3-1. For Overbay this season, not a lot of luck against the Orioles average-wise, 184, but he has had 4 home runs, accounting for 11 RBIs. But he has struck out 16 times against the O's, more than any other J. 3-1 delivery on the way, and that one smacked to center. Over is Jones, and he's got it. No runs, couple of hits, no errors. 2 are left on base. The Orioles lineup with some changed names in there coming up. and Jones. Wieters is Turris and Bell. Markakis now 9-game hit streak at 368 during the streak.
And our PNC scouting report and on what Sean Hill has to do tonight to achieve success. Well, health is well. A couple of Tommy Johns over the last couple of years. Actually had his opposite shoulder operated on. He's a sinker baller, so that sinking feeling of he's doing well. And he is the 15th player from Canada to pitch for the Blue Jays. Actually signed with the Expos, so played for both teams up in Canada.
Out of Mississauga, Ontario.
The lake. Everybody has a cabin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, up there.
Ground ball down to third base by Andino. Encarnacion will get it over there, and Andino starting at second base is retired. That'll bring up Nick Markakis. The streak continues. It's at 9 games, 3 for 5 last night, and scored the winning run. Since August 21, he's hit in 20 of 21 games, the highest percentage in the majors over that time period. As Nick continues to get it done in every way for the Orioles at the plate and defensively. Markakis hitting .319 against Toronto. No home runs and 3 RBIs on the season against them. The Orioles until last night had such a struggle hitting under .230 against the Orioles on the Jays on the season. Add another one. Nick Markakis with Snyder getting it now has a 10-game hit streak. Second pitch he sees, line drive base hit.
Well, .298 lifetime hitter, and you don't usually do that if you don't use the whole field. And the amazing thing about him, we saw it last night, that is now the 51st hit to left center. He's got 64 to center and 48 to right. If that's not using the whole field, I don't know what is. And again, you throw it out there, he'll hit it that way.
So Nick is on base again, and here is Ty Wigginton. Wigginton had a 1 for 4 in the ball game last night. That's going to be fouled back on a big
wow
by Wigginton.
Boy, you want another one of those. Right down the middle, 87 miles per hour, and he airs it out but fouls it straight back. Hadn't hit a home run yet in the month of September.
Hill is a sinker ball pitcher with a changeup he's trying to get back. This is a 29-year-old right-hander who's had a career of injuries. 6 operations he's gone through. He didn't make his debut till September 9 this year against Texas. He had Tommy John surgery that kept him out virtually all of last year and all of this year until this month. He had a couple of stints on the DL last year in 2008. Right elbow surgery. He hasn't had a win since April of 2009 when he pitched for the Padres.
And there's that changeup you talked about. A little slider to go with it. You know, I saw him pitch a couple of years ago, but again, and it looked like he had a pretty good idea, but again, the injuries always seem to come back and keep him from getting out there. And then we talked about, how about Bruce Walton talking about him today? How about hurting your opposite shoulder and having to have a shoulder operation on your left shoulder?
2-1 delivery. That ground ball not hit hard. Encarnacion will go to first. Overbay will pick it. Wigginton retired. Markakis goes to second.
Well, the Blue Jays 4th in the least amount of errors, so pretty mobile outfield with Batista with the 10, 11 assists. Wells 3-time Gold Glover. Snyder in left. Encarnacion, Escobar with great range at shortstop. Aaron Hill, Overbay, nice first baseman, and then the all-star catcher, John Buck.
So Luke Scott, the game winner last night, as he came on to bring home Nick Markakis. Got the RBI in the bottom half of the 11th inning with a single. He had an intentional pass flied out and then got the single to end the ball game. They put the shift on, and he will take that one up high. Nick Markakis had set the stage for him with a single, moved down to second. Then Scott with the game-winning hit snapped the 12-game losing streak against the Jays that the Orioles had going this season.
Yeah, he had a pretty good pitch, just went with it, which is what good hitters will do.
Pitch is taken inside. Scott, his power being noted around the league in September, hitting only 194. That's the lowest average of any month going back to April. But he's got 12 walks, a couple intentional, and that's the most of any month. In 3 passes, his on-base percentage is the highest of any month. And he's only added 6 strikeouts in September.
Well, he made a good point before yesterday's game. He said, well, I'm hitting a little bit of tough luck. They're really pitching me a lot of breaking balls. And, of course, that's the way you try to get him out. But I think last night he did what good hitters do, which is take a good pitch and reduce it into a good pitch to hit by going the other way. And that's what you want to do. Now, he, of course, I think a lot of times he equates success with how far I can hit the ball.
2-1 count. He's got that shortstop hole wide open the other way, and the pitch is going to be taken down low, and the count will go to 3-1.
Yeah, the only number, and we don't dwell on it because he's had a nice year, more home runs than he's ever had, is the under 200 batting average with runners in scoring position. And as a former pitcher, what I look at is they just pitch him a little differently. And when he makes that adjustment, boy, he'll go to another level, even higher than he's already at.
That is the second lowest average in the league with runners in scoring position for Luke, which is kind of amazing. And an off-speed breaking ball is going to be in there for a strike, and the count will go full.
When you see a guy like Robinson Cano, as good a hitter as he is, and hitting well over 300 as he did last year, hit 207, you realize that they do pitch you differently. And as a veteran hitter like Luke, or even a veteran guy as Cano now, in his 4th, 5th year, that's respect. Yep. That's why you saw the 3-1 changeup. Why would you give in to Luke Scott?
3-2 delivery on the way, and went for the outside corner. Did not go around, so add another walk to that total. So 13 walks now in the month of September.
And this is a matter of trying to make the perfect pitch. And again, there's nobody better on this team that can stop the bat once he started his swing. And he takes a pitch just off the corner and gets the walk and allows Felix Pie to come up and see if he can do something.
Pie had an 0 for 2 in the ball game last night. Felix Pie hitting at 275. And the Orioles have a chance, as did the Jays in the first inning, to get on the board. And that one in the air to center field. Wells will go back and has it lined up and puts it away. So both teams have a fly ball to center to end the first inning, leaving 2 on base and the game scoreless. Vernon Wells leading the Blue Jays. He's got 41. Nick Markakis, he leads the O's, and he's got 41. Both are in contention to take the American League doubles title. Longoria's got 44 right now. And that pitch taken for a strike. Hope you'll call today for your Luna double. Get your second Roma flooring free. 877-241-LUNA. Hill had an 0 for 4 in the ballgame last night. And Aaron Hill in a check swing. Wigginton, Arrieta covers.
Boy, there's as good a curveball as you'll see on this team. Boy, bottom just drops out of it off the table. Check swing.
Jake coming off a victory over the Yankees. 2-run, 8-hit, 6 1/3 inning performance. Only 3 runners reached third base in that game, and he had a lead early. 3 runs in the first inning as the Orioles won at 6-2. He has 1-1 lost 3 and had 1 no decision in his last 5 starts. That is in there for a strike. Lind, designated hitter. Adam Lind had a 1 for 4 in the ball game last night, and Lind will take that away. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Jake Arrieta against a ball club that's got a couple of players like Hill and Lind who have really struggled on the season, and that struggle's continued here in the final month. In the air, Markakis. He's got it. Lind retired. 2 down. The O's and Yankees are going to renew their rivalry with a weekend series this weekend here at Camden Yards. Friday, stick around after the game for the season's final fireworks night. Gather up, family, friends, enjoy an explosive night of Orioles baseball. 888-848-BIRD to go to Orioles.com. Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the Yankees to start the day a half game behind Tampa Bay. The Yankees have lost 4 in a row now. Tampa Bay came away with a win and regained possession of first. Buck is up and will take it for a strike. He had a 1 for 3 last night. John Buck, their catcher, putting in a career season for this team. He's been very good at and behind the plate. Career highs almost every offensive department, and that one's going to catch him. And caught a little bit of Wieters on the rebound. So a hit batter as Buck goes down.
Yeah, just trying to come in, and he goes way in. That ball just runs, punches him in the rib cage somewhere. That's when you want to bring that chest protector to the plate. Ow.
Caught him right on the caught Wieters right on the throwing arm. Obviously in a deflection, so not nearly as much pizzazz on it. Here's Encarnacion with 2 down and a runner at first base. He'll take it outside. Night last night, 6th inning. Solo home run. Home run in the 10 games here at Camden Yards. 4 homers, 282 average.
Well, that's what he lives for. Fastballs, hanging, breaking balls in the middle of the plate. Great high ball hitter.
It's kind of fun to watch Toronto hit because you just don't see teams do this. I mean, he's cranking. He's got his whole body in a spring position when that pitch is coming in.
Well, they call that loading.
But their loading is like, it's overload. Just how hard will they swing?
Look at that swing. You got to get back to get through. The same thing. Pitching and hitting are so much alike. You got to load if you're pitching. And of course, they give you a 10-inch mound to throw downhill. And we just saw Cito Gaston, who was a terrific hitting instructor, terrific player, been a great manager, a couple of world championships. And this is the philosophy. Have an idea and get ready to hit. And, it sounds like it's so simple. And for a lot of hitters, you got to get that trigger mechanism. So you got to get that timing. And what the pitchers are trying to do, they're trying to destroy that timing.
Toronto doesn't care what the count is or really what the situation is. They don't worry about hitting behind runners or going the other way or adjusting swings based on the count. It's just go. 2-2 delivery, and that'll be fouled off.
Well, they're kind of like the Moneyball theory. The Michael Lewis book featured the A's, except at on-base percentage. They're 13th in on-base percentage, where if you strictly, not this kid, I mean, hey, Batista's leading the world in home runs and also is almost getting on base, almost 39% of the time. The rest of the guys, it's just let it go.
2 ball, 2 strike count with 2 down. Arrieta's delivery to him. Well, the count will go full. 3-2. That'll send the runner at first base, John Buck.
Yeah, watch this pitch just off the corner. We had a wide strike zone, low last night from Gary Darling, but very consistent. Bruce Dreckman looks like he's going to make you throw it over the plate tonight.
3-2 away. Encarnacion. He'll take it, and he's gone. Arrieta comes in and gets him. First strikeout, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. Sunset time, 0-0 score. it's on. No score in this one. Jones coming up. Wieters and his tourists to follow. Adam Jones, a 2 for 3 in the ball game last night. Also added a run, stolen base, and that great catch. Drew the applause of the pitcher.
Yeah, Lyle Overbay didn't like it, but I said, Jones, is there ever a wall you don't want to run into? He said, I said, because they don't move. He said, no, I have learned that.
Yes. We were talking about Wrigley. He was talking about running, he and Ty Wigginton, about running into the ivy, which is not ivy at all. When you go to Wrigley and you look at the ivy, it looks like maybe, that ball's not too bad. That's brick behind it, and it is unmovable.
Well, this
Wiggy
one,
asked him, would you have caught that ball in Wrigley? And Adam said, I don't think so. He said, once I got close to the ivy, I probably would have slowed up a little bit.
Well, we talked about it early on. I mean, obviously, there were a lot of, he won a gold glove. I mean, not taking it away from you, but a lot of people felt that maybe he should play a little bit deeper. And one of the reasons, not only do you get to more balls, you don't get hurt when you do run into walls.
You're not going quite so fast.
Right, yeah, exactly. You don't have as far to go back. And it's, for most outfielders, and there's been a couple of exceptions, Paul Brewer comes to mind, most guys come in better than they go back. It's just the nature of the game.
Yep. There aren't many who have been able to turn the trick of being better running for a ball that's behind them. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Adam Jones. And the delivery, and that will be taken outside. And the count goes to 2-2. Sean Hill, just his second start. He has drawn a walk. 2-2 delivery on the way. And that's going to end up in the seats. Lots of orange shirts here tonight. Showalter's the name.
Most of the names.
Most
got a
of the
Koji
names.
fan there.
Like Showalter t-shirt night.
And Johnny Oates wearing that number in honor of Johnny Oates, who managed here, played here. Another 26 here was a guy named Don Stanhouse. Full pack. That's what Weaver would smoke when he would come in to save games. He would go through an entire pack of. It's funny. Don Stanhouse was a very accomplished pitcher, but his theory was very simple. He said, when you come in as a closer, most hitters will expand the strike zone, so why throw a strike until you have to? And he took it to the nth degree.
2 ball, 2 strike count here. And Jones, with Hill staying really inside on him, fouls that one off.
Well, that's that movement on that good two-seamer. You got the slider sweeping away from you, and then you could see his grip with the seams. Look at that ball run in. It gets Bruce Dreckman on the foot.
A couple of tough foul balls here in this at-bat that Jones has had to fight off, just able to get enough of the bat on the ball, pulling his hands back. 2-2 delivery on the way again, and this one is going to be in foul territory. Buck could catch it. Jones is retired. 1 away here in the second inning. Tonight's Maryland Lottery Hit It Here is Kenesha Sawyer from Baltimore. If an Orioles player hits the Hit It Here sign located in the bullpen area, Kenesha going to win $100,000. To find out more about how you can become the fan of the game, visit mdlottery.com/hitithere. Kenesha, good luck.
Only 420 feet. The deep left center.
Matt Wieters will take that one for a strike. See if Matt can drive one the other way. It would be just the right angle for a long fly ball by a left-hander to get the Hit It Here sign activated. Wieters had an 0 for 4 in the ball game last night. But Matt has had a very strong month of September so far. Fastball is going to be in there. During September for Wieters, 355, 1 home run. 1 ball, 2 strike count on him, and the right-hander's pitch will be fouled off the other way.
Well, a lot of at-bats. And, you know, talking to Terry Crowley, the hitting instructor for the O's, and Crow was saying, I said, that's 2 years in a row that Matt has seemed to step it up in September. And he said, well, we, as collectively as a team, didn't have a good April. And we started out 2-16, but part of the maturing process is getting up there.
That one will go to short. Play made by Escobar. Wieters is retired. When Hill is on, as we said, you'll see a lot of ground balls. Or sinker he's got.
And he's gotten, well, he got the Jones on a changeup. You talked about trying to establish that, and he got P.A. with a couple of guys on trying to drive in a run on a changeup to fly to center.
Here's his Torres, 2 down, nobody on. His Torres did not start in the ballgame last night. Came on and picked up a base hit, however, in the 10th inning. He had a 1-for-1 in the game. Brian Roberts, of course, hit by a pitch in the ballgame. That's why he is out. We understand he is available. They needed him tonight to play, but I think just by looking the way Brian is dressed, the hope is they're not going to have to use him. Here's the 1-1. Slow roller. It's going to be a tough play. Hill, and he just lets it go foul.
Yeah, that's a play that you have to run on because you force the pitcher to make a decision. If you don't run, he's going to try to obviously get it to it as quickly as he can. But if you're running, you know, sometimes you know you can't make the play because you have to catch it and then avoid him and then make a throw with the base runner between you and first base.
Orioles winners of 7 of their last 9 ball games. Trying to get their 57th win of the season here. Pitches inside. They are now 1-12 against Toronto. But Showalter has the ball club scoring 4.5 runs a ball game. They were scoring 3.2 when he took over per game. And of course the pitching we've talked about is even more dramatically improved.
Yeah, when you go up a run in a game or more and your ERA comes down 2 runs a game, that's how you win games. It's that run differential.
Orioles lead everybody in extra inning wins with the 12th last night, 12-3. That one down the line and left. Snyder making the long run. He's in fair territory and will put it away. Sean Hill has a 1-2-3 inning. We've completed 2 here at Camden Yards. No score. About the future, not the past.
Our guys have kind of looked at this as a different 2-month season. You know, what's happened is one thing I told them. What's happened before and what have you, it's nobody's fault. It's just, you know, we got to, you know, I don't want to say a fresh start, but, you know, we got a lot of things we didn't have before. And some guys performing, like I said, their track record. And, you know, a lot of those games against them were, we weren't pitching as well, and we didn't have all the people on the field I have now.
That's the way he wants the team to think about it. He doesn't like to talk about what's gone on, losing seasons, losing months. Let's just go get him right now and worry about that. Here's Travis Snider, lined out his first time up, leadoff batter. Arrieta gets him to cue that one foul, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
Well, there's the good changeup. He took a belt-high one and hit it right at Andino. In fact, the 2 outs in the first, Snider and then Overbay to end it, were both on line drives. So pitched out of harm's way with a good defense right at his guys.
Up the middle and has enough hop to go through. So Snider is on with a leadoff single. Toronto's #1 draft pick, 14th overall, getting some playing time there.
Well, I just hit it where nobody plays. Again, another ball up in the strike zone, and pretty routine ground ball, but if the ball's away a little bit, it's probably at your shortstop. If it's in, it's probably at your second baseman, and if it's down the middle, they hit it back up the middle. That's not always, but it happens, and then it takes the big hop, which doesn't happen unless you hit the dirt in front of home plate here and into center field.
Leadoff man on for the first time against Arrieta. Here's Escobar. Escobar delivered a single. Bell will move in even with a bag at third base. And the pitch away. We told you we'd keep an eye on Arrieta. Through 2 innings on the 0-1 count. Happened 4 times. A single picked up in those cases. On a 1-0 count, that also 4 times, and 1 for 4 there as well. So even up as to whether or not he got that first pitch strike or not. Nobody's put the first pitch in play yet. He's had a couple of full counts. Pretty good lead over there. Snider really challenging him to throw over. He had about a step onto that cutout area beyond it. Now backs off a little bit, but he got his attention. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Does show bunt. Takes the slider away, and it goes to 2-0. For Matt Wieters, as we take a look at the steal percentage against catchers, you can see Matt Wieters right there with Lou Marson, Alex Avila, Gerald Laird, and Joe Mauer. Among effectiveness, the league average, if you're talking about the catcher side of it, is 23% throwing out base stealers. Comparatively over the years, that's not very good. No. It's really gone down.
Yeah, well, it used to be 28. Maybe, your good guys would throw, like Ivan Rodriguez would be up there in the 45%. Of course, Laird's always been a good thrower. But if you were doing your job, 28 to 31%. But again, guys are running more. I mean, this is the year of the pitcher. Home runs down for most guys.
So Matt's above the average with that 29%. 2-ball, 1-strike count. Escobar with a runner at first does bunt. Bell was charging. Baer hands it. Makes a nice play. Sacrifice will move Snider down.
Yeah, most likely it will be scored as a sacrifice, but it's just trying to bunt for a base hit. And again, Escobar can do a lot of things. And Bell, of course, will come to Arrieta's rescue because they give you the out and you take it by making a nice play. We'll come circle the ball, get his timing down, and then snap throw over to Wigington, who's just played first base about as well as anybody.
So now,
gonna be like a first base duel when Teixeira comes in.
Exactly.
Glover, Wigington or Tex.
And then last night did a heck of a job at third base.
Well, except on Papa.
Well, it was in foul territory.
Oh, good.
Didn't need to get that out.
Really good for
Only you pitchers think those matter. Here's Jose Bautista. And Bautista takes it outside for a ball. So he's now 0 for 5 in the series and 0 for his last 7. Jose Bautista, also second in RBIs as well as first in homers, third in slugging, and he draws a lot of walks as you'd expect. He's second in free passes in the league with 92.
Well, that's why that on-base percentage. And the more you see him, the more you realize, and with what you were talking about earlier, is that he goes up there with a good plan. I'm going to get a fastball to hit, hanging breaking ball, and I'm not going to deviate from that plan.
Lines it to third, Bell 1, and that's it.
Well, there it is right there. That's 95 in, except you're looking fastball, so you react to it, and he hits it right on the nose, and Josh Bell, once again, 2 nice plays right here. I mean, look him turn on that ball, but in just enough that he's not able to really get his arms extended.
So that will bring up Vernon Wells with a runner on at second base and 2 down. Wells had a single his first time up, good for a 5-game hit streak. And Wells 255 with runners in scoring position on the season. Arrieta trying to strand another base runner there. Orioles had a lot of that last night. In winning 4-3 and 11, they left 15 on base. Toronto stranded only 4. Orioles had a lot of chances, going 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position last night.
And that last one, the big one, that's what counted. Scott single to left in the 11th.
Here's the 1-0 delivery on the way, and Wells with a big cut. He's really frustrated facing Arrieta in these first 2 at-bats. Even though he got a single, he's had a couple of cuts where he's just walked away talking to himself.
Well, that's a curveball, and maybe he was sitting on it, but again, it's a quality breaking ball. It didn't linger in the hitting zone, and the good breaking balls that just have that spin, and a lot of times you can't see it, and even when you do, it just keeps moving down.
1-1 delivery. Wells will watch that one go by outside. 2 ball, 1 strike count. 2-1, 2 down. Orioles with these 3 games at home against Toronto. Day off, and then the Yankees in for the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the 3-game set. Wells 2-1. In the air, infield, first or second, swinging base, and Dino, and he's got it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. 4 stranded so far for the Jays. Who won a batting title with no home runs?
Oh, it had to be Rod Carew.
Rod Carew. Indeed. And Josh Bell will not go after that. So the batting title without a home run, the answer is Rod Carew. 72, hit 318. Mr. Wrist. 1-0 delivery to Josh Bell in the big cut.
2 for 2. See what happens when you have time off?
You go to the truck before the game and check in and see what the question is.
Okay.
It's very smart.
But you make up the question.
Okay.
Well, wouldn't that be awful if you made up the question and you
didn't know the answer? Done that plenty of times. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Bell. And then a fine play at third base defensively already in the ballgame. Andino and Marquez to follow. That will be the first strikeout for Sean Hill. On Sunday, the first 10,000 fans 15 and over at the Orioles-Yankees game will receive an Oriole tote bag presented by the Sarasota Convention and Visitors Bureau. Plus, pre-registered youth fall sports teams can take part in the pregame parade on the field. For tickets and details, 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com. That ball grounded towards the hole. Escobar will need the cannon right here, and he's got it. And Dino beats it out. Close play. That's as good as you can do from Escobar's part and Andino's.
Yeah, well, he was scurrying down the line, and you're going to see, I mean, great angle right here because Encarnacion can't get to it. Look at this arm strength. And I thought he had him, but the only guy that matters, first base umpire. Chris Overbay, a very big guy with great arm reach.
Escobar thought he had him too. So Andino reaches with a single. He's 1 for 2. He's in the leadoff spot with Brian Roberts out after being hit by the pitch in the tricep last night. Now Nick Markakis, who has already singled, extended his hit streak to 10 games. Buck Showalter was talking about Andino before the game. He really wants to take a long look as much as possible there in the final month at Andino. He thinks there are a lot of tools right there. Can they be put together and harnessed?
Well, high draft choice, number 2 out of the Marlin organization. And he showed it. I think he still has to, and maybe learn a little bit because he had a nice year down at AAA. Did hit some home runs, did drive in a bunch of runs, did hit over 300 the second half of the year. But he's got very good range as a utility guy. But again, he does live in the school of cool every once in a while. I think that'll change with Buck.
Yep.
I think he's already changed his mannerism.
1-0 count, 1 down. And they deliver to Markakis a strike. Andino hit .264, 13 homers, 76 RBIs with the Tides this season. He played in 132 games there, and after the All-Star break hit .306, picked the pace up as the year went along at AAA. He's at first. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Sean Hill throwing over.
Yeah, don't you think the question with any young player is that, okay, you can play at AAA, you can even play in the big leagues for a week or so, but can you be a utility guy? Can you get yourself ready when you don't get as many regular at-bats or defensive opportunities? And, of course, you get to prove yourself over the last 3 weeks, and whenever you get to play, and then you get spring training to show Buck what you can do.
He may get more chances than he might have anticipated with Julio Lugo's status an issue for the Orioles right now. Get to that in a minute. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Markakis will hit that one in the air to shallow center. Brennan Wells. For Julio Lugo, a question of is he going to get back on the field? There he is on the bench, and very sad. He got hit with that attempted pickoff right in the head. And the question of how serious it was really didn't come up until later, when days after started having headaches, and still does. That's concussion stuff. So he's being watched every day now and is not available to play. That's a real tough break for Lugo at a time when he wanted to have his share of ABs and starts.
Yeah, and he was another player that actually picked it up the second half, especially when Buck Showalter. I mean, there was a little pep in his step, and he hits lefties well, and he can play shortstop if you want to give Suarez a day off. So if he can't play, that's where Andino comes in, especially over the last 3 weeks of the season.
That face about tells it all of his feelings, and understandably so. Here's Ty Wigginton, the pitch out, runner not going as Andino gets back to the bag. Had a decent lead. Talking to John Shelby down there.
Well, the one thing when you have a guy like Sean Hill on the mound and he's throwing a lot of strikes, you can pitch out. I never like to do it. You can sometimes do it back to back if you really think they're going to run, but not if you have somebody that's wild.
Towering fly ball left center field, and it's going to stay in the yard. Wells is there to haul it in. Wigginton retired. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left, 3 complete, no score. Bar. It opens 2 hours before and 1 hour after each Orioles home game. Big screen TVs are there. And the pregame show broadcast live. Tom Davis, Dave Johnson have it from 1 hour before the ball game. There are also Bar pregame specials and postgame fun. So drop in. That's the Bud Light Warehouse Bar on Utah Street. No score. And the pitch will be taken for a strike. Lyle Overbay, Hill, and Lynn do up. Overbay flying out to center. His first time up. Jays have had a home run, 15 consecutive ball games coming into this one. Pitch up high, so the danger of them getting one is pretty much always present.
Yep, they do. They don't try to hit soft signals the other way. Not that they don't do that.
225 homers, well ahead of the Red Sox. 36 home runs ahead of Boston, which is second. That is not even close to the all-time differential between a team leading in home runs and the team that is second to them. 2-1 pitch. That'll be fouled off his foot. The all-time record, the 1927 Yankees. Who else? The 27 Yankees had 158 home runs. The Philadelphia A's 56. There was a 102-run differential in 1927. Then the 1920 Yankees, they had an advantage over the St. Louis Browns by 65. The 47 Giants and the 97 Rockies over the Braves and Dodgers. The top four differentials in home runs by the leader and the team in second. You would have expected Murderers Row to be there, and they are.
Well, Ruth
retired.
Two good guys to start with, Ruth and Garrett, wouldn't you think?
In a day when the home run was not
that's
necessarily a big part of the game.
Well, when Babe, not when he hit 60 home runs, when he hit 57, I think he hit more than everybody else in the league.
More than half the teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. That's why the impact of the Babe on the game is forever. You just take home runs as a big part of the game now, but it wasn't always that way. You had those outfields that didn't have any fences and people standing all around the outfield. You literally, every home run was an inside the park home run because there was no outside the park.
Well, that's why at Memorial Stadium, I played there when they had a fence, but when they first started, when the Browns came in 54, it went all the way to the hedges.
I still love those pictures of, you see those old pictures with the fans standing on the field in the outfield, or even better, the photographers who stand just outside the batter's boxes taking pictures of the hitters. You see a lot of that with DiMaggio's shots, where the photographers are on the field while the game's being played, while they're hitting in the box, and they're standing there or kneeling there, usually taking pictures outside the batter's box. Yikes. That's a great pitch by Arrieta, and Hill's retiring.
Well, you're seeing glimpses of what Jake Arrieta's going to be able to do once he gets his innings. I mean, this is, he's up to 96 tonight when he makes these type of pitches, and that's, again, what you work at as a starting pitcher, because the averages come down, the strikes go up, percentage, you talk about how important strike one is, but again, this kid's got a world of talent.
He's got 2 Ks and no walks. And Lynn will take the ball to left field. Pierre going back into the corner. Pierre will not have a play. It hits off the top of the wall. And Lynn will go into second base. He's got a double. So the designated hitter's on with a 2-bagger. 25 of them this year.
Not just going to be a fastball away. Almost hit a home run on a slider the last time. So again, good plate coverage. Of course, Lynn came in hitting 115 last night against lefties. He loves to see right-handed pitchers.
He has an enormous differential, the largest differential between left and right-handers in the American League for Lynn. 121 lefties, 266 righties.
Until you go down and stand next to him, you don't realize, and maybe this is why he hit 35 home runs last year, how big he is. And so the same with John Buck. Batista with 46 is a big guy, very fit, but Lynn's just tall, wide, strong.
The Buck is 6'3", 210 pounds, at least when the season started, and it doesn't look like much has changed. He got hit by a pitch his last time up. 235 major league average coming into the season. 274 as he stands in for the year. And Buck will take it up high. Jays now with 4 hits in the ball game. The Orioles 2. No score. 4 left on by the Jays, 3 by the O's so far. Orioles a couple of singles, one by Markakis, one by Andino. Hill has walked a batter, struck out one. Arrieta's walked none, struck out two. 2-0 count. There are two down. Did he go? Yep. Home plate umpire Bruce Struckman with the call.
Yeah, good slider to a good fastball hitter and a fastball count. One thing about Jake Arrieta, he'll throw any of his pitches at any time, and you can see the bat head well out in front of home plate. And when you do that, you do plant doubt in the hitter's minds, and that's what part of the success formula for a pitcher is.
2-1 count. Good lead at second base. And that's going to catch the inside corner, and the count goes to 2-2. He's moving it around. The Yankees have taken the lead 4-0 on Tampa Bay. Robinson Cano has had a 2 RBI homer in that one, with Tampa Bay a half game up, vying for the division championship with a team that doesn't get it. All but guaranteed they'll be the wild card team. Swung out and missed. Arrieta. Raiders will step out and make the play. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 3 in the game. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. It remains zip-zip. He's laughing about it, so are they. There is no mercy. So they do the old homicide, lay down the tape. This is where he died. Vernon Wells coming in, taking a look. That's what it looked like, Vernon. Somebody will be indicted, don't worry. The trouble is it's you, and you're the victim, too. Sean Markham was part of the crew, ripping the tape off and laying it down. They did a good job, didn't they? It's pretty darn. Got the number on. They got the arms, right? It's very realistic. Luke Scott, he's got a base hit. He's going to be on his way to second. Snyder will get it in, and a double for Scott, who walked his first time up.
Well, that woke up the crowd and Luke. Now, watch this approach. Ball off the outside corner. Don't try to pull it. And just go with it. Nobody's playing there. And then he will scamper into second.
So the Orioles have kept their streak alive. 36 consecutive games in which they have had at least one extra base hit. It is the longest active streak going. Houston with 31 is second to them. The Orioles now with 36. And more importantly, a real good chance to get a run on the board.
Well, again, nothing ball game going into the 4th inning, you would imagine. Felix Pia is thinking, or at least he should be, hey, right side. If this was Corey Patterson, you probably would see a drag bunt. I don't see Felix punt a whole lot, so hit it to the right side, get him in, get him over.
Aaron Canesion, third baseman, all right off the cut of the grass.
And you know, if you're Cito Gaston, most likely, because Jones doesn't steal bases with a sinker ball, you're going to play your infield in. Just make it easier for Adam to hit.
Be an ideal situation defensively for a drag bunt. If you could get one by the pitcher's mound, because Hill's way back and Overbay at first base is staying back.
You would think that that's going to eventually be part of Felix Piet's repertoire.
With his speed. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way, and that one is a little bit better. That's going to be an extra base hit. Off the wall, Bautista. He'll hold him to a single, but a run is in. Piet gets the RBI base hit. The Orioles have the lead.
Well, he does hit it to the right side, but it's a bullet into the corner. Looks like it's a little change-up, and it just stays in the middle of the plate. And you can see right there the change-up grip, and he just hits a seed into the corner. In fact, so hard that Bautista, with a very good throwing arm, makes a perfect play. Leaf's going to score easy. Orioles have the lead.
23 runs batted in for PA, and this is 68th game. And the Orioles go on top against Sean Hill. Adam Jones coming up. We'll have to wait. PA talking to Shelby. Wants the signs again from Gary Allenson.
Well, again, it's a kid that didn't steal a lot of bases, but did in spring training before he hurt the back muscle, the major muscle, the trapezius, and was out for 3 months. He was stealing bases, and he's 5 out of 7.
Adam Jones up at the plate. Adam, a pop out to the catcher, his first time up. So the Orioles continue their hitting with runners in scoring position that had been such a problem all year. 333 the average over the last 6 games with runners in scoring position. PA not going. Jones would put it up in the air again to center, not deep. Wells. Busy night in center field. Jones retired, one away. Make your deposits now for the 2011 Orioles full or partial season plan. Gain access to the best seats available at Camden Yards, and you'll enjoy Major League Baseball's biggest and best benefits program, the Orange Carpet Program. Save on the cost of individual tickets. Never pay ticketing fees again. Guarantee your access to opening day tickets. That's 888-848-BURR to go to Orioles.com and get ready for 2011. What are you laughing at? Could you read that word? ACCESS. Is that hard? Apparently it was. Trying to add another word to Webster's long, distinguished line of words. PA off first base, and the pitch is taken up high by Wieters.
Boy, you learned one yesterday.
Yeah, I did. Concussed. I would have challenged that on the board. But when we have cameramen who have the vocabulary ability that they have here in our crew, I would have lost the challenge. That ball hit into the gap right between short and third, right where they weren't playing Matt Wieters. So he's on with a base hit. 3 hits in the inning.
Well, the Orioles, again, as a team, making some nice adjustments. They started with Scott doubling down the line right here. Another fastball. Not a bad pitch, but you can see Escobar's way up the middle. I always thought you try to pitch to your defense. You pitch lefties away when you're playing up the middle, and they hit the ball the other way. They're going to get base hits. So a nice bit of hitting by Matt Wieters.
First and second, one away. Here's his Turris. Flied out to left field his first time up, and his Turris will take that for a strike. 275 off Jay pitching for his Turris. Good number for him. This is Blue Jay staff. Jay staff struggling in September. The opponents are hitting 290 against Toronto pitching so far in September. 0-1 delivery. His Turris will take that one down low, and a 1-1 strike count. Keep in mind, Sean Hill's making only his second start at the major league level. He had 11 starts in the minor leagues in a rehab after having Tommy John surgery that had shut him down all year. 1-1 delivery. That's to first base. Overbay will go to second. Had trouble getting it out of the glove where that ball was alive. Escobar almost dropped it trying to get it out of the glove at second base. They get the force out.
Yeah, anytime you pull the ball's left-handed hitter and you have some speed, and there's another changeup, another good one, and there's that little clutch, you're not going to turn it. Escobar knows that. So, again, get the lead runner. And he just barely clears Matt Wieters going down to second base, and then Escobar knows. Just in case they send him. Of course, with that arm, I don't think you want to send anybody. What an arm this kid has at shortstop.
So 2 away, and Josh Bell. Orioles have a run in RBI PA after Scott led off with a double. Now Bell, a strikeout victim, has runners at first and third.
And I kind of waved at a changeup for strike 3. There's another one. You know, I just look at Josh Bell, and you know, it's funny that the league average is 186 with 2 strikes, and as a young hitter, he goes up there and he swings at everything, and they know that. The opposition says, you know what, you don't really have to have a discernible plan. Throw it close, he'll expand the zone, and it is tough to hit that way.
Look, and no play either way. Bell has hit safely in 6 of the last 7 that he has started, trying desperately to get that average up.
Well, the one thing he does well is hit with runners in scoring position, hitting .290.
Well tipped. The Orioles know they've got to do something at first and third. You take a look at the combined numbers for first and third baseman, and Ty Wigginton has really made the difference. In average home runs and RBIs, the best Boston, and New York combined. The Orioles 12th in average when you combine first and third. 0-2 delivery, and there's what you're talking about. He went after it, and that was way outside. So Bell has struck out twice, the only 2 strikeouts that Hill has, and the Orioles get a run. They do it on 3 hits, leave a couple on, 1-0. Experience Ford like never before. Ford, drive one. The Jim Palmer, I'm Gary Thorne. Great to have you with us here at Camden Yards. Orioles lead at 1-0. Out hitting the Jays right now 5-4. Jake Arrieta gets on Canecion inside to him. Top of the order, Snyder and Escobar to follow. Arrieta's gone 1-0 now on 10 batters. They've gone 2 for 9 when he's fallen behind. He's had 0-1 counts on 7 hitters. They are 1 for 6. 3 strikeouts. 2 of them have come after he's gone 1-0, so he's come back to get a couple of Ks after falling behind. And that's going to be a shattered, well, maybe not. It's a foul ball. Sounded like the bat broke. Sean Hill, 11 out of 18, 61% first pitch strikes. Arrieta, 8 out of 18.
Yeah, 69 pitches. He averages 17.1 per inning. So he was pretty much right on target. It's a little bit high, but yeah. I mean that's Jake at this point in his career.
Here's the 2-1 delivery. He's fallen behind the last 6 batters with the 1-0 count. You don't want to live that way for too long.
But he's and really the last at bat in the last inning by John Buck, got behind him 2-0. Slider for a check swing strike, then a curveball for a called strike, and then a slider swinging strike. But if you really don't want to pitch that way because it's just hard to do.
Yeah.
But again, all the pitchers are there, not to every batter, not on every occasion, and that's what being young's about. He talked about he's only 24.
All right, Canasian just coming off the DL for Game 1 yesterday. He had a bad wrist, left wrist was hurt, and he was out and on the DL. They've got him back.
Well, just Gary, just think about it. I mean, his last 5 starts have been against Tampa Bay, best record in baseball, the Rangers, the White Sox are in contention, the Boston Red Sox, number 2 in runs scored, or number 3 actually, and the Yankees.
And he got him.
So he is pitching, and there's another slider. Fastball count, got to throw a strike, leadoff batter. You're not looking for this pitch.
You know what? I agree with Buck Showalter, though. Guess what? That's who you play.
Well, no, you're right. But what I'm saying is this is the great learning form for these guys.
Yeah.
And they've stepped up.
They have stepped up.
They really have. And, I mean, you know what? He makes a great valid point. We know, hey, you're going to play in the American League East, compete. No ifs and buts. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
He went after the first one that time, but that's going to be a foul ball.
That's the big leagues. And you know what you're going to get.
Yep. And that did break the bat. Jeremy Guthrie is going to be getting a shot at the Yankees. Yankees haven't set their rotation yet, although it does look like Andy Pettit's going to come back and pitch on Sunday. Chris Tillman will be up against him if that holds true. Kevin Millwood will open it up on Friday night. Jeremy Guthrie pitches Saturday. And then the Sunday game with Chris Tillman.
And I don't think the Yankees aren't aware of how well Guthrie has pitched. I mean, he's really been the ringleader because he started at, 8 quality starts? I mean, 8 magnificent starts since the All-Star break out of 11. He got everybody in gear.
Travis Snider with the 0-1. Jumps away. He had a single. Last time up, got out of an 0 for 10 that he was in with a base hit. Lined out in his first at bat. Jake Arrieta with a 1-1. Fights it off for another strike and a 1-ball, 2 strike.
Yeah, really hard because of how sharp that break is on that curveball to hit it fair. And unless you go up and stand by Jake Arrieta, you don't realize. I don't want to congratulate the Ravens on their 10-9 win, but he could play. It looks like he could be a linebacker in the NFL.
And that'll be taken down low. 2-ball, 2 strike count. Leadoff batter Snider, and then Escobar to follow. Snider has hit .230 in 36 games since his recall from the minors. 2-2 delivery. And that one jammed him, and he fights it off. They'll stay at 2-2. This Jays team's going to have a very good starting staff for next year. They and Oakland may have, and Baltimore may have the top 3 starting rotations going. Young.
Yeah, and then I guess you can certainly throw Tampa in there. Yeah.
Tampa's going to have it. 2-2 delivery. That's going to make wheeling and dealing in the offseason for players when you're like the Orioles and you're looking for a couple of good free agents even more difficult because teams like Oakland and Tampa Bay are going to be doing the same darn thing because they think they've got the pitching in Toronto. 3-2 pitch, and he got him, and no argument there. Set him up for the pitch away.
Well, it doesn't get any better than this. 3-2 changeup. Right on the outside corner. Travis Snider thinks about swinging at it, just cannot pull the trigger.
5 strikeouts in the ball game, 2 in a row, and 4 of the 5 have been called third strikes. He's got 2 down here, and here's Escobar, a single and a sacrifice. Escobar going after the first one will foul it back. And our game flow brought to you by Bank of America. Right now, it is the pitching with Arrieta not having walked anybody and getting Ks, and Sean Hill in just his second start of the year having given up only the 1 run. Another slow roller fouled away, and a 2-strike count on Escobar.
Well, in the words, and Buck Showalter kind of alludes to Earl Weaver on a daily basis, Earl would say Jake Arrieta is throwing the unexpected. He is using all his pitches, and we've seen it time and time. Travis Snyder, 3-2 changeup, Buck, curveballs and sliders. And it all started out where the change wasn't very good in the first inning. Now that's changed.
Worked his way through the early troublesome point as far as finding pitches, which is another thing you learn to do. And then you get it back and use it. 1-2 ground ball towards third. Cut off Bell. Arrieta, solid inning, couple of strikeouts and a ground ball out, and he protects the lead. 1-0 O's. A single and one of the key plays of the game, and a ground ball to second base that was hit by Wigginton. Hill was forced to have to make a quick, hurried decision because Markakis was digging and hustling to second base.
One of the key plays in the game last night, and maybe it didn't go unnoticed, was it's the things that don't show up in the stat sheet that you love about Nick. He's on first base there fighting to a secondary lead, and Wiggy hits the ball, second baseman's left. And I can't tell you how many guys would have been forced at second base on that ball. You know how important it was to try to get there and make him make a decision. And Aaron didn't feel like he could safely get the out at second. Next thing you know, you got the tie and run in scoring position. I'm telling you, a very high percentage, there's an out at second base, and they're going to force you to get 2 hits to scoring. And that's what I took home with me last night.
And that's all he wanted to talk about today, too, was...
And the W.
Yeah.
And you know what? It goes back to what he alluded to, the urgency, the sense of urgency. I mean, you're in the 11th inning. You talk in spring training, you get your primary lead, you get your secondary lead. But if you do that from April to September, it does help you win games.
Yeah. Makes all the difference in the world.
The new Orioles.
Last night, it set up the win. He was funny. Buck was funny talking about Markakis. He says, I'm always looking to see if everybody's where they should be after a play ends. A base hit, a ground ball out of people backing up and then moving. He says, I always have to come to the side of the dugout and look down the right field line to see where Nick is. He said, every time I do, Nick's staring at me and he's pointing at me.
Well,
and what Buck was saying was he knows I'm looking, he knows I'm watching to see that everybody's doing what they're doing, and he's watching me out there, and he points back at me like, I got you, Skip, I know where I'm supposed to be.
Well, I once asked Lou Piniella, who'd you learn all the managing tools from? He said Billy Martin, because he saw everything. Buck Showalter sees everything.
That one down to third is a foul ball.
And his players know that he sees everything.
And he learned a lot from Billy Martin.
Yes, he did.
Well, that's one of the names he'll always bring up when you ask who influenced the way you manage and what you've learned about baseball. He'll always bring up Billy Martin's name in one way or another.
He said they were doing drills when he first took over for the Yankees, and Billy, of course, was there as a guest host. He had been, manager 5-6 times. I lost count. I've been reading the Steinbrenner book. I don't know how many times. It was 6-7 times, whatever it was. Billy goes, we've been doing this for 20, 30 years. And Buck says, I know. We're going to do it every day here.
Yeah, he got him. That is strikeout number 3 for Sean Hill. And Dino goes down. He's 1 for 3 in the ballgame.
Yeah, real good breaking ball right here. And, he's used the changeup probably more than that slider. But good slider to a right-handed batter. Gets the job done.
Hill has a record of just 0-1 against the Orioles. He's only made one start against them, May 16 of 08 at Camden Yards. It's the only time Hill has gone against him. Hill, 42nd career start with all the injuries he suffered. Only 42 starts at the age of 29. Nick Markakis, a single, and he has flied out. 10-game hit streak now for Nick.
Well,
Orioles have the 1-0 lead.
That's all those injuries you talked about. What, the 6 surgeries? He had started when he was in high school. He was in the 33rd round by the Padres and then hurt his elbow. So he didn't sign as a strike, and then he's the 6th round draft choice by the Expos at the time, would eventually become the Nationals.
Got to make you feel bad for a guy who's gone through as much as he has, but he's here, he's hanging in, and he's trying to make an impression here at the end of the year and get himself back into pitching form. It's virtually been the 2 years, really, that he's missed. He missed all of this year, and he missed most of last year, even though the operation didn't come until June.
You just watch a guy, and of course, as you mentioned, he's got some age. He has an idea of how to pitch.
In the air, deep right field, Nick Markakis way back. Goodbye, home run.
Well, they try to come in and learn from my former 4-decade catcher, Tim McCarver. If you're going in, you better get it in. And he doesn't get it in, and Nick all over it. Double digits now every year.
Number 10 for Nick Markakis, and State Farm donating $100 to the Wounded Warrior Project for every home run hit by the Orioles in the second half of the season. And it is a 2-0 lead. Markakis, 2-hit ball game, a single and a homer. Ty Wigginton 0 for 2 with a big cut there and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. There wasn't much question that that one was going to leave the yard right off the bat. 1-1 delivery. 1-2 as Wigginton fouls it away.
Yeah, I'm sure that Sean Hill, when he heard the crack of that bat and saw where the bat head was, that's when you motion for a new ball from the umpire.
6 home runs at home and 4 on the road for Nick. And the Orioles, who have been severely out-homered on the season series by Toronto, get the first one here in this ball game.
What was that? I saw the numbers last night, 25-5 going into last night's game or through last night's game.
And Wigginton rocks that one into left field. He's got a base hit. Snyder coming over to get it. Wigginton is on. So the Orioles have a runner on at first here in the 5th inning with just 1 away. Sean Hill, just his second start. Will he run out of gas early in this ball game?
Yeah, Bruce Walton talking to Cito Gaston. Bruce on the right, and to our left, the manager, Cito Gaston. And I think probably the question they're talking about. You know, they have a 13-man bullpen.
Lots and lots of choices.
Well, Cito did say, and you know, he's been saying for the last month, hey, let's finish with a flourish and let's play 500 balls, something they didn't do last year, 75 and 87.
Luke Scott, he doubled his last time up and scored. RBIs in the ball game by PA and Markakis. Markakis and Scott crossing the plate. Luke got the first extra base hit of the ball game in the 4th inning when he let it off with a 2-bagger. Scott continues to be among the leaders as far as DHs are concerned. 3rd in batting average, 2nd in home runs, and overall 7th in the league in slugging. Runner at first base for him with 1 down. Very short lead, Wigginton. And the 1-1 fastball is in there at the letters. 1-2 count on Scott. Luke hitting .346 here at Camden Yards, the 3rd best home average in the American League. Once he climbed into that spot about a month ago, he's not surrendered it. Only Josh Hamilton in Texas and Paul Konerko in Chicago have higher home averages. Swung on and missed. Throw to second is off the mark, and everybody's on. Buck decided to try and go for Wigginton, the lead runner, rather than make the throw on the dropped ball right there to first base.
Yeah, well, it's the right play, but the wrong throw. I mean, the play's right out in front of him. Your momentum is going, right there. He just gets under, drops his elbow, and Escobar keeps it from going into center field. And I think the scoreboard has a lot to do with that. You're already down 2. It's a play that you usually make but didn't make. And the Orioles an opportunity now, of course, to add to the 2-0 lead.
Just out in front of the plate would have been a very easy play at first base. So now runners on at first and second. Error charged on the throw, setting up the base hit by PA. Wigginton will come around to score, and the Orioles take advantage of it and have a 3-0 lead.
Well, back-to-back RBI singles by Felix PA. So again, the extra out syndrome. They don't get the force the runner, the lead runner at second. Wigginton able to score. Orioles now lead by 3.
Felix PA gets it done. Still only 1 away here in the 5th inning. And for PA on the year, 24 RBIs. Jones has popped out and flied out, 2 on and 1 down. Third game, PA with the multiple RBIs, and obviously he's got a shot at having some more opportunities in that regard. He's had 4 2 RBI games and 2 3 RBI ball games this year. And drawing a little time for the bullpen, Buck is going to take a very slow walk to the mound. David Percy just beginning to loosen up in the pen. So Sean Hill in his second start, having trouble here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, 6 hits the last 2 innings, and it's not over here in the 5th inning.
He gave up 3 earned runs and 5 in the 3rd in his debut this season. In the air, left field. Snyder. Runners halfway will go back. Jones is retired. 2 down in the 5th. The Brooks Robinson replica jerseys presented by Real Street Staffings were to be given out on July 17. Were not available due to a vendor error. Now they are here. You can get them at the Fan Assistance Center in the warehouse. Simply bring your voucher to any Orioles game or stop by the Fan Assistance Center weekdays 9 to 5. You can get information 888-848-BIRD. Waiters a single and he is grounded out. Matt gets another chance. Buck will block that one. Scott, the lead runner at second base. PA's on at first, 2 away. Orioles now 3 runs. 3-0 lead. The learning, the teaching, the listening. One-0 delivery. Wieters off the fist, and maybe a bit of his foot fouls it off. He'll limp away. Matt Blossing the year towards the end of the season in his work at the plate. And with these tight ball games, not been a lot of chances to throw out base stealers because not a lot of running has been going on. 1-1 delivery. Wieters will take it outside. John Hill trying to find a way to get through the inning, complete it. It'll probably be his last. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Second base, Hill. and gets it over there in time for the out. But the Orioles will come away with a couple of runs, kicked off with one away by Nick Markakis. 2-hit ball game, including his 10th home run of the season. Record at 500. His career high strikeout is 6. Came on June 10 in his debut against the Yankees. He's got 5 in the ball game tonight. He's also got a chance to get that strikeout number above the base on balls number for the year. He'd like to do that.
Oh, he would, and he kind of likes the run support. They've scored him, 4 runs or more, 13 out of the 17, but 12 runs in his last 2 starts. And then 2 in the previous 3, and it's tough to win under those situations. So 3 runs, you're pitching well, you're using all your pitches. But again, this is a shutdown inning. You heart of their lineup, 3, 4, and 5.
Jose Bautista's got to be yearning for the long ball. He's popped out, lined out. He's 0 for his last 8, including an 0 for 6 in this series. Arrieta facing him for the first time. 1-1 delivery. Foul tipped. 6 home runs against the Orioles on the year for Bautista.
Well, there it is with the Blue Jays. And again, the trouble in the first inning. A couple of guys on, able to pitch out of harm's way. A couple of line drives that got caught, especially the last one with a couple of guys on by Lyle Overbay.
Arrieta stays away. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Bautista.
Well, the one thing he's done really well tonight, other than mix up his pitches, is stay inside his delivery. When he gets a little bit long, he'll get out on the heel. Haven't done that too often tonight.
2-2 pitch. Just missed. Count will go to 3-2. From Arrieta. No walks, 5 strikeouts in the ball game. Bear in mind he's working on extra days rest. He's had 6 days between starts, which has not been favorable to him in the past. So far, so good tonight. And Bautista backs out at the last second.
Well, for Bautista, it's not just feast or famine because he walks so much. So, again, he'll take a walk down by 3 if it's presented to him.
And he does. Yep. So that is a leadoff walk, and the first one surrendered by Jake Arrieta. So if you look at his numbers on the year now, he's got 52 strikeouts. And if you include intentional passes, he's got 51 walks.
Well, and I think it's not always the base on balls, but how you got to him. That 2-2 curveball with a 3-0 lead. I don't know if you really have to throw that. I think you have to throw something that you can throw over and almost encourage Jose Bautista to swing the bat.
Vernon Wells has singled and popped out. Runner at first base, nobody out. Wells will take it for a ball. Jays battled back in the ball game last night, and now we're trying to do it again. Pretty good lead at first. Bautista not going, though. And that slider's going to miss away, and Wieters is on his way out. And the Orioles pitching coach will join him.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he likes the sequence of pitches with the 3-0 lead. And, a lot of times, again, when you're young, you don't realize what your best pitch is. And maybe Rick Bennett's out there to say, hey, you're throwing 93 to 96 tonight. So let's get back in sync. And, of course, the one thing he's been able to do tonight, and it's hard to do, it was hard for me to do, was constantly pitch when you're behind and get all your pitches over. But he's been able to do it, but it's deserted him here in the 6th inning.
Vernon Wells breaking the mark of 1,350 career games in the outfield, a Toronto record. Last night's start, passing Lloyd Mosby, who held the mark for Toronto. 2-0 count to him, dangerous pitch. And Wells will foul it off. And a 2-1 count.
Yeah, having a nice September. Came in hitting 300 with 4 home runs this month. 4 of the 27. And I'd like to add to that total.
Always tough against the Orioles. His lifetime mark 301. Throw over will get him back. Wells 301 against the O's with 31 lifetime home runs.
And it seems like I've called all of them or been there. I mean, an array of pitches. Right center, curveballs, sliders, fastballs.
2-1 count to him, and again Bautista diving back into the bag. Wells impatiently waiting at the plate. Here at Camden Yards, 279 hitter and 11 home runs in this ballpark. 2-1 delivery on the way to him and an awkward check swing, and he fouls it off. How many times have we seen this body language tonight from Vernon Wells? He's walked away at pitches that have just fooled him.
Well, another two-seamer, you can see the grip, and yeah, well, this is good stuff. 94 with good movement. He wanted to take it, but the ball just really boring in on him and unable to stop the bat.
In the 6th inning, the Orioles have the 3-0 lead. Leadoff man on here. Bautista's running. Wells takes it, and Bautista will go into second base. So a stolen base for Bautista will put him in scoring position and take away that possible double play.
Yeah, 11 out of 12 now when they run on Jake Arrieta.
Bautista's 8 for 10. Andino will move in at second base to try and hold him close. And Wells 3-2. Nobody out. Andino, more than moving in, takes the throw.
Well, there's going to be, it looks like they're scurrying around the Orioles bullpen as again, this is little things, maybe trying to get an out here in the 6th. He'll take it. But the pitch count now at 95.
Here's the 3-2 delivery. Vernon Wells in the air to shallow center field. Andino back. Jones coming. Andino will play it.
You know, Gary, it's almost like he's over swinging and jamming himself. There's a slider that backs up just a little bit. You know, the hanging slider is hittable. The one that spins a little bit, you go out to hit it and you get jammed. But again, 3-2, not a fastball, something else. And Jake Arrieta has been very effective pitching that way.
Matt Albers in the bullpen. Lyle Overbay at the plate. Overbay is 0 for 2. He is flied out, grounded out. Now has an 0 for 6 in the first 2 games of this series. 1 down, runner at second base, and again Wieters, after that pitch, hustles out to the mound.
Well, I think this is really just to slow him down. That was a changeup. He goes, sits away, he pulls it down and in, and you know, part of it, we always talk about the game speeds up, but maybe when you get a little bit fatigued, you know, again, one of the graphics you used in the opening was that he's approaching more innings than he's ever pitched, and a lot of them at this level, which makes him even maybe a little bit more fatiguing.
1-0 delivery. Drew back on that. Overbay shakes his head and moves away, and a 1-1 count. 19 homers, 61 RBIs. Overbay trying to crack that 20 home run mark, which he certainly will do before the season is done. Bautista now has the shortstop as Torres holding him tight. Arrieta with a 1-1. That one to second base. Andino gloves it. Bautista will move up, 2 away.
So another ball hit hard, but right at Andino, and he makes a nice play because he doesn't play a lot of second base. Overbay now hitting 2 balls on the nose, nothing to show for it.
And a chance for Arrieta to work out of this inning as Hill will stand in. Even though hitting just .211, does have the 23 home runs and the 60 RBIs in what has been a long season for him, average-wise at the plate anyway. And the pitch is in there for a strike. Seven have been left on by the Orioles, 5 by the Jays. Foul tips that one, and quickly strike 2.
Well, 101st pitch at 95, and it just zooms on the outside corner and then away from Aaron Hill. Boy, you'd like to bottle that pitch.
Fans want the strikeout. It would equal a career high if he gets it. Here's the 0-2 delivery.
Couple inches lower, and he would have had it. Just out of the zone, and Bruce Dreckman probably one of the more consistent umpiring jobs tonight.
1-2, runner off third base. That's a little further outside. 2-ball, 2-strike count on Hill. Hill has had only 9 hits so far in the month of September. Take the 0 for 2 that he's had tonight. He's 9 for 46. Around that 200 mark on the month and on the season. 2-2 count. A look over to Bautista. And a ground ball to second base. Andino. And that's that. Despite a leadoff walk, Arrieta works his way around it. A walk, 5 strikeouts. He's got a chance for his 6th win. It is a 3-0 lead. And by Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill. Check out Green Turtle's new all-star value deals, a stacked roster of 10 full-size menu favorites at incredible prices. Find your neighborhood turtle at thegreenturtle.com. There's Torres up, and he'll take that second pitch to center. Wells coming and will not have a play. So as Torres gets a single, a lead off the bottom of the 6th. Jake Arrieta departed and got the handshakes. His night's done.
Wow, terrific job. Pitched out of harm's way when he rarely got in trouble. First and really the 6th. And now, again, he'll present the bullpen with a 3-0 lead. Pitch count, I think about 103 on the evening. But again, the story here, the Orioles have made some nice adjustments. I mean, Hill's pitched well. He used a changeup. The Stars just looked for one, served it into center.
Josh Bell. Ball 1.
I think it's actually was a strike, but again, the clutch hits by PA, and everybody seems to have really picked it up. Scott started the 2-run fifth with a double down the left field line.
They said he went after it. So there's the ball outside, 1-1. They have gotten Josh to chase some pitches here. Sean Hill has in the ball game. He struck him out twice.
Well, a veteran against a rookie. And again, that changeup really effective, getting him to chase way off the outside corner.
3 strikeouts, 2 of them against Bell.
And there's another one, just can't pick it up.
And the count goes to 1-2.
79, 80 miles per hour. Fastball 87 to usually 89.
He had 1 strikeout in his first start and only start prior to this one. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Bell just fouling that one off as Turris on at first base, and the Orioles with a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. A victory here guarantees that they will have won 4 consecutive series, and no small matter. Yet another one of those hurdles for the Orioles. Runner goes. He'll come back. The Orioles, last time that they had a 4 consecutive series segment of the season was September of 2004, when they won 4 series in a row. Buck Showalter's trying to get it done the first 2 months of his reign. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Runner not going. Foul back again by Bell.
And what's impressive, again, is the opposition. I know I looked at over the last 40 games and you go, boy, this club is going to struggle. That hasn't been the case. They have stepped it up, and really in every category.
Beware spring training in September. Pitch is going to miss outside, and a 2-ball, 2 strike count. Two and 2 as Turris did take off once here in this at bat. Shelby just talked to him again at first. Let's see if he goes here. 2-2 he does. Bell reaches, misses, throws way off the mark. Right to the backup man, Hill. Boy, Buck one-hopped that one. Just a little bit off.
Well, yeah, I mean, watch here. I think he actually slips. And maybe not. He looks down at home plate, but I guess if again, I mean, he really came in last night throwing about 28% of the runners out, but that just didn't get a good grip on it. It's really hard to tell. He throws obviously better than that, but that was a very errant throw. In fact, 2 of them tonight.
As Turris gets credit for his 10th stolen base, 10 out of 15.
Yeah, you got really 3 guys on this team that run. And Turris one of them.
That's a shattered bat right at his Turris. One hopper played Escobar. He didn't get much on the throw, and with the Andino speed, he almost beat out another one.
Well, again, when you get jammed like Robert Andino does, the ball, it's hard to get out of the box. But again, just a flip throw, and Andino almost beats it out.
And that is going to be it for the starter, Sean Hill. He's going to come out of the ball game with 2 down here in the 6th inning, and just his 2nd start in his road back to the major leagues. He leaves having given up the 3 runs, and Percy will come on in relief. Enough for Sean Hill, but for a second start of the year, pretty darn good. There's David Percy.
Yeah, they bring him in again to match up, and we've seen this 13-man bullpen. Markakis, of course, is hitting .353 off lefties. What did David Percy do? We saw him last year for the first time. Lefties only hit .162, so a matchup situation. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't because of, again, Markakis' ability to hit just about anything thrown.
Nick has already picked up a couple of hits in the ball game, has a 10-game hit streak and a 4-drive of the game in the 5th.
Well, he just gets a fastball. They try to come in. They usually stay away, and they did the first time. He singled to left center, try to come in, and he homers for the 10th time.
Your local Ford dealer invites you to experience Ford like never before. Ford, drive one. Runner at second base, 2 down. Markakis up and will try and bring his Taurus home. And a big swing and a miss. Percy with that delivery, that step towards first base against left-handers, and then crosses over the body with that delivery, so it looks like he's coming right at your rib cage.
Yeah, big kid at 6'5", out of the University of Oklahoma, former #1 draft choice back in 2004.
0-1 count. Little seed on that.
Well, deception and velocity, and he gets Nick to chase out of the zone, at least initially. You would think that he will try to stay there again.
Percy clocked at 94 miles an hour on that last one. Markakis has gone 5 for 9 off him. Here's the 0-2 delivery. And Nick will swing and miss. So Percy gets the strikeout. No runs in. A runner left on at second base. Orioles up 3-0. His first start, an appearance against Toronto. He can say, I pitched against the world's leading home run hitting team, and I didn't give up a thing.
No, we talked, I guess one of our keys to the game was, if you're going to throw a home run, as the Orioles did last night, make it a solo home run. But I'll tell you what, he did throw the unexpected tonight. He's got to have Toronto talking to themselves. Great stuff, up to 96 miles per hour. Curveball, slider, and changeup in any count. And for the most part, got him over. He's about as good as I've seen him pitch. And again, I think what we saw tonight is why, again, he was 5th-round draft choice. But Joe Jordan, who I ran into tonight, said, I had him on my top 15 players in the country. We saw a little bit of that tonight.
And you always talk about the reaction of hitters. We've talked about the body language of some of these Toronto hitters tonight, just walking away, shaking their heads.
Well, they think they're getting pretty good pitches to hit. But again, when you have an explosive fastball with great late life, which is what he had, again, it's just hard to really center the ball. He just did a terrific job.
He is out of there with a chance to win it, and Matt Albers is on for the 57th time this season. As Arrieta left, giving up just the 4 hits and no runs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. Adam Lynn leading it off. He'll take it to left center field. Jones Lynn 1 for 3.
Yeah, a little blip on the radar screen for Matt where he gave up, 4 runs or 3 runs on 4 hits after 9 scoreless innings, but an opportunity because of the injury to Jason Birkin to step up a little bit. And again, if you talk to him, he said, can I sink the ball? Because that's what I do best. Can I get my curveball and slider off? The slider was a pitch he came up with. Rick Kranitz teaching him that pitch. So again, over the second half of the year, very, very effective for the Orioles.
And the pitch will be taken away by John Buck, who's been hit by a pitch and struck out. Buck 0 for 1, and the only at bat he's had against the Orioles, Matt Albers. 7th inning. Orioles on top, out hitting the Jays. 9-4 in the ball game and leading it 3-0. Albers' pitch hit in the air to the gap, left center field. That's not going to be caught. It'll go all the way to the wall. Jones up with it. Buck on his way to second base. And will go in standing with a double. And the ball close behind.
Well, again, to talk about urgency, this is a hanging slider. It just hovers in the middle of the plate. And watch this right here. Adam Jones. They do come out early. John Shelby, the first base coach, outfield instructor, they work on different angles with the fungo, go to the right, left, playing balls off the wall. And that practice pays off. Almost got John Buck. We usually see it at right field here, but very rarely do you see that type of throw from left center field.
So a runner at second base, 1 away. Encarnacion, who has struck out twice. Can't hold up. One plate umpire will call the strike on him. Encarnacion 2 for 7 off Albers. We were following the numbers on Jake Arrieta tonight. He's so successful when he gets ahead with that first strike. Tonight, 1 for 9, gave up 1 single when he had an 0-1 count. He did fall behind 1-0 12 times, but gave up only 2 hits, 2 singles, and issued 1 walk after he'd fallen behind on the count. And there was just a first pitch offering once, 1 for 1, double as far as first pitches are concerned. So he did what he needs to do with the 0-1 and did a little more than he usually does with the 1-0 count.
Well, there's the unpredictability. Yeah. He really mixed his pitches well tonight.
That's in the dirt, gets away, found by Wieters, and holds the runner.
Yeah, and that is a huge play. And they're trying to somehow crawl their way back into this game, and if Matt Wieters doesn't block that pitch, Buck's going to be at third with only 1 out. And somehow, and again, Buck with not a lot of speed, you can see on the top of your screen thinking maybe. But again, you're already in scoring position. You don't want to be 3 runs down, getting thrown out, trying to go to third.
Here's the 1-2 delivery, swung on, hit hard. It's going to say Tampa Bay's come up with 4 runs, but they still trail the Yankees 6-4 in the middle of the ballgame in the 5th.
Well, you got the number 1 and 2 offenses in the American League playing down in Tampa.
Not before a full house either. They're really concerned that.
Well, they should be.
They're not getting the crowds down there they need in that ballpark.
Well, it's in the wrong location. You live a lot closer there, but when we went there in April, they were talking.
I'm not sure, though, there's anywhere.
Yeah, well, that could be true.
I don't know. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and that's going to be outside. 2 ball, 2 strike out. So key inning here. Runner on at second base, 1 away, the 7th. As Toronto Ball Club battled back the ball game last night, getting a couple of runs in the 8th inning that would tie the ball game up, sending it into the 11th. The Orioles won it 4-3. Orioles have the 3-0 lead so far in this. 2-2 delivery and a good pitch and got him to chase.
Well, we talk so much about Buck Showalter, how the pitching's improved, more so maybe with the starters. But again, if you're Matt Albers, you look out in the bullpen and there's nobody up. This is your inning. And you know what you need to do to get Encarnacion out, and that's, hey, get your breaking ball over. With a quality breaking ball, and he's able to do it. About 3 months ago, there would have been righties and lefties up now. But come on, you got the stuff. Here's your opportunity. Sense of urgency.
Yep.
Get him out.
Gets one of them. Now he gets the leadoff batter, Travis Snider. Snider singled, struck out, and lined out. He's had 1 hit in his last 12 at-bats, dropping the average down to 237 since being recalled. Runner at second base, 2 down. Towards first, backhand stop made Wigginton. He'll make the underhanded toss to Albers, and that's the inning. No runs, one hit, no errors, one left. 7th inning stretch time here at Camden Yards. Brought to you by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Please drink responsibly.
In Cooley Field with another RBI to make it 3-0. But Wigginton comes in to score the third run. Sean Hill pitches well. Again, only the 2 earned runs. Arrieta just pretty much overwhelming tonight. A lot of strikeouts. Almost up to that career high of 6. And again, the one thing now in his last 3 starts, 2 base on balls.
So the Orioles will try and maintain this lead with Albers coming on and getting the job done in the 7th inning. David Percy came on to get the final out in the 6th against Nick Markakis. Tomorrow will be the wrap-up of this. The Orioles hope it'll be a chance for a sweep in the 3-game series. Brad Bergeson will be making the start, and we'll see the Major League debut of Kyle Drabeck. Doug Drabeck's son called up 2 days ago, arrived yesterday, and will make his Major League debut in the ball game tomorrow night.
Yeah, his dad, the 1990 Cy Young Award winner in the National League, so he'll be here to watch his son. I had a chance to meet him. Big, kind of sturdy kid.
Yep, and son excited. He's ready to go.
Yeah. He said, I throw harder than my dad did, but he had better breaking stuff.
Honest.
So, well, he said his dad had even a bigger smile on his face when he heard he was starting. So he will come. I think they live down in the Houston area.
0-1 count, Ty Wigginton. Wigginton, a single, run scored, 1 for 3 in the ball game. David Percy will miss outside with that one. Orioles, if they can pick up 7 wins in the last 18 games, are not going to reach that 3-digit loss and losses on the year, and certainly a pretty good chance that that is going to happen. And if they get 8 wins in their final 18, they'll equal their record of 0-9. 2-1 delivery, and that'll be taken outside.
Which is really kind of a monumental task, considering they started out 2-16. For whatever the reasons.
Yep.
You know, there were a multitude of those.
7-5 in the month of September. Wigginton will foul it back. And the count at 3 balls and 1 strike. So he was looking for one to drive.
Yeah,
in 08, the Orioles were 16-37 to end August and September. 16-37. Last year, 19-40 in August and September. Right now, they are 24-16. Here's the 3-2 delivery on the way, and turned on it. Thought Adam Jones, I was talking to Adam first. I said, well, tell me what you've learned this year. Adam said, this game's tough. I said, that's a damn good answer. He said, if you really did learn that, then you've really learned something. And he said, I really learned that. He said, this is 7 months of come out here, love every minute of it, and realize this game is tough, and you got to be ready every single at bat to play this game.
And that's why I think that's where managers really make a difference. You know, I mean, Jim Fergosi was a terrific manager, really good player. Said, well, you know what, you got 60 and 60, and then so there's 120 games, and the manager makes a difference the other 40. But I don't. After playing for Earl Weaver, and we obviously love-hate relationship, but Earl, I mean, he always, yes, he did, and he wanted to win every day. There was a sense of urgency, and you did grind it out. And you didn't expect to win. You never assumed you were going to win. You just expected to win if you did the right things, because that's what good teams do. And I think for Adam, Nick, they've never played on winning teams. It's a lot more fun to win. And they're finding that out. And they're finding out how to do it.
Yeah, Adam said that as part of when he was talking. He said, man, it's a whole lot better than the first 4 months. Check swing, foul ball. And you got to feel that. Until you've felt that and understand the difference, you don't know what the difference is. Matt Wieters is having a great September, but Showalter's really pushing him to be more of a leader in the ball club, be more expressive, be more outgoing about it. And Matt's heard that, I think, and he's responded to that. 3-2 count on Wigginton. And Wiggy will take that to right field, driving Bautista back, warning track. That's going to make a hit up off the top of the wall and into second base with a stand-up double. Wigginton slipped. That's why he's looking back. He almost fell down coming around first base, trying to figure out what happened there.
Well, 3-2, you got to throw a strike right into the wheelhouse, because Wiggy likes the ball out over the plate. This ball actually, off the corner. Jose Bautista can't get it. I think they're all aside. I think they're playing, he's wondering how that happened.
Saad came up under.
Yeah.
There it is, the hole right there.
Place your divots.
So with the runner at second base, nobody out, Orioles have 10 hits now, and Luke Scott, he has doubled, scored, hit into a fielder's choice, and drawn a walk in the ballgame. That's exactly what Buck Showalter, I would have been a groundskeeper gardener if I hadn't been a manager, was talking about when he was out on the field during the last homestand. He said this is a tough time of year to try and keep the root system strong, and you tend to get more divots and the ground comes up a little more. And he said it's nobody's fault. It's just that's what happens when you start getting the cooler nights. 1-0 delivery, hit in the air to center. Vernon Wells. One away. Now Felix Piet's had himself a night. Started out with a fly ball to center, but then in the fourth inning, RBI single. Followed that up in the fifth inning, RBI single. So 2 for 3, 2 singles and 2 ribbies.
Yeah, Felix came in with a 286 batting average, which is better than his 11 points with runners in scoring position, and added to that tonight. So he's probably up there right around 300. Markakis, the only other hitter over 300 with runners in scoring position for the Orioles on the season.
And there's another chance for him. Wigginton out there at second base and only one away.
Yeah, Luke Scott could not get Wiggy to third base, so a little bit more difficult task.
Pierre is hit 241 off lefties, 285 off right-handers. 1-0 count with one down. Warm-up action. Josh Renicky in the bullpen.
Yeah, son of Gary Renicky. He plays for the Orioles, down the West Coast scout.
PA with a 1-0 pitch. Fastball is there from David Percy. That'll even it up at 1-1.
Yeah, David Percy reminds me, he's kind of the Toronto version of John Lester, who punched out 12 last night in Seattle. Kind of a homecoming because he comes from Tacoma, won his 17th game for the Red Sox.
And that one's going to miss down low.
Certainly not as accomplished because Lester, as we know, I don't know if has he ever lost to the Orioles? I think he's 10-0, 11-0. He's got like 5 pitches he can get over at any time. They almost got him the last time.
He's one of those next on the list guys. Yeah. Goes, right?
Well, they had him on the ropes, just couldn't put him away when the Red Sox were in town.
Yeah. Tampa Bay's battled back to take the lead in the 6th inning. They are now leading the Yankees 7-6. They have battled from a 4-0 deficit in that ball game. Tampa Bay trying to extend their lead to a game and a half over the Yankees. Who do you want to play, Texas or Minnesota?
I want to play Texas. Okay. Well, maybe not. Cliff Lee pitched well the other night.
3-1 delivery is fouled off. That's what's at issue.
Well, you know, that's really, I mean, that's really what the postseason's all about. And not that you always have a choice. But if you look at Minnesota, they just seem to keep winning. And, of course, they have Pavano. If you go to Texas, the Yankees just got swept by Texas. Even they're not playing at full strength. I don't know. The Yankees just aren't, you know, I talked to Buck Martinez next door, and they just, you know, goes to Toronto, and, you know, I really respect his baseball acumen. He said the Yankees just haven't looked good.
No, they're pretty banged up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're guys who are playing are hurt. Pitch is going to be inside, and that's going to walk him. So the Orioles get a couple on with one down here in the 7th inning. Join Orioles Reach, the Oriole Advocates, for the 2010 Cardboard to Leather Collection, presented by Legg Mason at Oriole Park before the O's-Yankee game this Saturday. Volunteers are going to be at each gate to accept your donations of new and gently used baseball and softball equipment. Monetary donations always accepted. These contributions, those who do contribute, you're going to get a Luke Scott autographed player card. For more details, OriolesReach.com. Great program for the kids. David Percy is out of there. He's responsible for the 2 base runners who are on, and Renicky is coming on the pitch. The Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer, and our great crew here at Camden Yards on this beautiful night. Started at 77 degrees. Just gorgeous. No wind at all. The Orioles have the 3-0 lead, trying to add to it. Josh Renicky to pitch.
Yeah, actually, as we mentioned, born in Baltimore, lives out in California, Rough and Ready, California. So is he rough and is he ready? Spent most of the year at AAA, where he was 9-1, 3.63 ERA. Came over with Encarnacion last year. Pitched a little bit for the Jays. Struggled with lefties, but much better this year. Lefties only hitting 179, righties 231.
13th game that he has appeared in. He appeared against the Yankees on the 5th of September, first game of the year. And he's going to be greeted by a base hit into left field by Jones. Here comes Wigginton. The throw not in time and missed the cutoff man. And as a result, PA will move to third base. Adam Jones, an RBI base hit, 4-0 O's.
Yeah, it looked like he just looked first pitch fastball, and, you know, it's not a horrible pitch. Watch this pitch. They try to come in. He gets it there. And again, the short stroke, bat head to the ball. And again, Snyder, scouting report tells me maybe he doesn't throw that well. Gary Allenson just sends Wigginton. He doesn't even hesitate. 4th run.
So Jones with his 60th RBI.
Well, you would have thought the way that ball was hit, and with a runner in second, only one out, that would have been a lot closer at the plate. But Snyder just couldn't seem to get a good hold on it.
And Wigginton got a good jump. Wigginton didn't hesitate at all. Now Matt Wieters, another shot. Wieters 1 for 3, a single. Runners at first and third, only one away. The Orioles now have 11 hits in the ball game. Percy will be charged with that run, and Wieters will foul it back. And the Orioles, who had not won in the first 12 games between these two teams, have a chance to take the first 2 in this 3-game set.
Man, really a chance to expand your lead here with only one out. Stay out of the double play ball. Look to get something in the air.
Jones back to the bag at first.
And they could have called Renicky for a balk because he keeps looking around, and he swiveled back and then turned to first and then came back almost like he was starting his windup. You got to be very careful. I mean, that's like starting your windup right there. That's a balk. That should be called.
Uses the high set, and Wieters.
Good changeup right there, yeah. Fadeaway changeup.
Renicky at Las Vegas, 9-1 with a 3.63 ERA, and he had 1 save. He appeared in 36 games in Las Vegas. 0-2 count here. Orioles first and third. They've just continued to put runs up on the board. PA's got a couple of RBIs. Jones won this inning. Markakis the home run RBI.
I've never seen a pitcher do that.
Here's the 0-2 delivery, and that's fouled off. He just turns this.
Well, normally you do it as you come into the set position. You come up and then you look. But if you just turn, I suppose if you do it every time, umpires aren't going to call it.
Are you deceiving the base runner?
Well,
that's
supposed to be. Yeah, good point. But it's supposed. I've seen a lot of balks called where nobody got deceived, except maybe the umpire.
Short lead at first base. 0-2 count, now extended by Jones. And the step and look. Bruce Dreckman, the home plate umpire, staring out, watching Renicky work here. 0-2 count. Long set. And Wieters will put it into right field. He's got a base hit and an RBI, and the Orioles have a 5-0 lead.
Well, nice adjustment by Matt Wieters. Renicky threw him one changeup, perfect, down and away. Watch this. Watch him go out and reach it. It's nice to be 6'5", 6'6" with long arms and be able to reach pitches that are on the outer reaches at the plate and strong enough to hit him into right field for a base hit.
53 RBIs for Wieters. Renicky had not allowed an inherited runner to score. Had left 6 on in his limited time here with the Jays. The Orioles have gotten both of them in. They have both charged to David Percy, who gave up 2 runs on a hit in 2/3 of an inning with a walk and a strikeout. Now is Turris with runners on at first and second. He's got a base hit, 1 for 3. The Orioles right back up there with those runner in scoring position numbers tonight. Off first and second. Runners with their leads. Fastball will miss away. And a 2-0 count from Renicky. 4 for 12 tonight. A lot of opportunities.
After what? 2 inning on. Yeah, 2 for 11 last night. And they still win the game.
Still won the game.
Yeah.
Jones, the lead runner at second. Wieters at first. 2-0 delivery. As Torres takes it down low, and the count goes to 3-0. Hit ball game, same as the Orioles put up last night. They scored 4 runs on 12 hits. Tonight they've got 5 runs on 12 hits. Renicky 3-0. As Torres taking it is in their first strike.
Well, and how many times have we seen when you get out pitched, talking about the Orioles, and the other team just keeps putting pressure on you because they're tacking on runs, and the Orioles have turned the table by getting good starting pitching. Casey Jansen getting loose.
3-1 strike count. Outfield very shallow and left and center on his Turris. And he'll take it. The bases are loaded. Each pitcher, 3 of them for Toronto's walked 1. So the Orioles load him up here in the 7th inning with only 1 away, and Bell gets the chance. Bell has struck out all 3 times up in this ball game.
Yeah, Bruce Walton's going to come out and have a little discussion. The little nuances of the game. You bring in Josh Reneke, and it looks like he's got a good arm. Whittier's had a good pitch. He actually made a pretty good pitch to Jones, but sometimes the matchups when you bring a guy out of the bullpen aren't ideal. You may be a fly ball pitcher, and of course Cito Gaston maybe wanted a ground ball, and you just can't pull it off because it's not your style. You don't have the experience.
Obviously looking for the ground ball to end the inning. That's what he wants. Bell 0 for 3 with the bases loaded this year. Does not want the ever famous sombrero tonight. He has struck out swinging 3rd, 4th, and 6th innings.
So you've seen Reneke now pitch to 3 batters. He has shown you a fastball, 92 to 94, and a changeup. Look for one of them.
Bases loaded. Bell first ball fouls it away. Trying to tee up on a first ball fastball right there. Strike 1.
And he got it and missed it.
Chance for a put away base hit. Reneke's 0-1 delivery. Bell will take it inside. 1-1 strike. Wigginton picked it off with a double. He has already scored. Pierre got the walk. He scored. And we've got Jones at 3rd, a single. Wieters at 2nd, a single, and a walk to his Turris at 1st. 1-1. Comebacker. And he missed it. And everybody is safe. Wanted to go to the plate before he got the ball, and the Orioles had a run.
Yeah, you work on this play, whether it's a bunt or they roll balls to you in spring training, but when it happens and the game speeds up, boy, Earl Weaver used to talk about you got to catch it before you can make the play. He doesn't do that. And then actually makes a nice play, almost gets Josh Bell. But again, when you're down 5-0, now 6-0, you want to get that force at home plate. Couldn't make the play. You make a great pitch, nice 2-seamer. You get the comebacker, even though it's not a conventional one, but just catch it, shovel at the home plate, and take your chances.
So the error charged on Reneke will allow the run to score. And now the top of the order. Andino, the bases remain loaded, a 6-0 lead. 8th Oriole to hit here in the 7th inning. And rips it. That is a fair ball right off the chalk. Waiters will score. His Turris will score. Bell coming in. Throw to the plate. Not in time. A bases loaded double. Andino. And the Orioles have a 9-0 lead.
What does he get on top of this fastball? And right on the chalk line, U.S. Open style right here. And here they come. There's your 8th run is Turris, and here comes Josh Bell. And I'm not sure anybody told him to get down. He doesn't, and barely gets in there. So the extra out, and Andino makes it 9-0 with a ringing double down the line.
Reneke faced 5 batters, and they all reached. 3 hits, a walk, and an error. And Andino with a big hit here to blow this open, a 9-0 lead. Going on, Josh Reddick is out of the ball game as the Orioles tag him and take the big lead.
So Casey Janssen will come in, and again, he's been very consistent for him. 20 strikeouts last 20 and a third innings. And again, a guy that he's always had a great slider, a lot of movement.
Still only one away. The Orioles have batted around. Nick Markakis, a home run in the 5th inning, his 10th, a single in the 1st, 2 for 4 in the ball game. His hit streak is now at 10 games, and he has had 5 hits in 9 at-bats in the first 2 games of this series. Off second base, Andino. 0-1 delivery, Markakis. He'll take it away for a ball. So the Jays being shut out. Now 9-0. This all comes in the 4th inning on. 1 in the 4th, a couple in the 5th, 1 unearned. And then this big 7th inning with 6 runs in. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery to Markakis in the air to the gap in right center field. Wells hustling, and will get there. Runner halfway will go back. Markakis retired, 2 down.
Yeah, he just knows he's going to get there. And he can cover some ground, and he just glides. And there you go, 3 times Gold Gloves. Looked like it maybe Nick might have another base hit. And he was a couple steps to left center field, so he went a long way for that ball.
Here's Ty Wigginton, who started this inning out with a double and has scored 2 for 4 in the ball game for Wigginton. And a check swing. They go to first, and he did not go around. Ty Wigginton, 30 multiple hit games on the year. He now has had 27 2-hit ball games. Looking for a 3rd hit in this at bat. Andino off second base with 2 down, the 1-0 delivery. He evened up on the foul tip at 1-1.
Yeah, Casey Janssen, one of the multitude of Jays pitchers, especially last year, but labrum surgery in 2008. Markin was out last year. Litch was out with Tommy John. McGowan was out. All kinds of pitching problems. Well, that's why a lot of the youngsters. Cecil Romero had an opportunity to pitch.
Now we'll go to 1-2 as Wigginton fouls that one back. And Ty looking for an RBI as well as that 3rd hit of the ball game. Andino, they're not trying to hold him, and he'll be taking off on contact with 2 down, so he's got a real good jump out there at second base. 1-2. Casey Janssen. Wigginton takes the pitch, and it is inside. Missed with it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brad Bergeson, Kyle Drabek tomorrow night. Will the Orioles have a chance to go after a sweep? Beginning to look that way with a 9-0 lead in the 7th inning. Here's the 2-2. And a full count. 3 ball, 2 strike count on Wigginton. Battle going on there. The Yankees have come back after surrendering a 4-0 lead. They've tied it up at 7-7. Cano and Rodriguez, the home runs for the Yankees. Casey Janssen to the set, and a 3-2 coming. Wigginton will fight that one off. This bullpen for the Jays coming into this ball game had done a decent job, middle of the pack, 7th in ERA in the league at a 3.97 ERA. A little better ranking than their starting pitchers, 11th for the starters with a 4.4. And that has gone up to Hill, giving up 3 runs, 9 hits, and 5 1/3. Wigginton will take it, and he's on. So the inning goes on here in the 7th. Scott up with 2 on and 2 down.
Well, they shut down tomorrow. Romero struggled. Cecil struggled. Bill's coming off Tommy John surgery. So again, a lot of innings for Cito Gaston, and they want to finish over 500 if they can.
They are 73 and 71 coming into the ball game. Luke Scott with a double. He scored. He's drawn a walk, fielder's choice, and has flied out. 2 on and 2 away for Scott. And he takes the big cut, strike 1. .26 homers, 65 RBIs, putting him up there among the leaders in the power numbers where he's been all year. Luke coming into the ball game. A slugging percentage of .543, 6th best in the league, up there with Hamilton, Cabrera, Konerko, Beltre. 0-1 delivery to him, moving inside and missed 1-1.
Yeah, that's a little cutter, slider, whatever you want to call it. Just a lot of great life. Kind of always admire pitchers that come back from injuries because I went through it, and you just never know. I mean, just imagine 2 years ago he's going to have labrum surgery. You never know if you're going to be the same. And this stuff looks like it's pretty much, and it shows in the numbers that it's pretty much back to where it was.
Here's the 1-1 delivery to Scott in the air to center. Wells going back. Wells on the warning track, and he's got it. Vernon Wells been all over the place. What an inning, though, as the Orioles pick up 6 in the inning. RBIs by Jones and Wieters and Andino, a bases loaded double. AT&T player of the game, Nick Markakis, a home run, his 10th, also a single and a run scored. Arrieta with a great start, no runs, 4 hits, 6 innings, a walk, and 5 strikeouts, a chance to win his 6th game. And Felix Piet, big night. He's had a couple of RBIs on singles, a walk, and a run scored. Text in your vote, A, B, or C to 518-62. Piet back out to left field. Matt Albers back out. In a much different context than he left. Escobar with a single and a sacrifice and a ground ball out tonight. Escobar, Bautista, and Wells do up against Albers. 1-0 count. 9-13-0 for the Orioles. 0-5-2 for the Jays.
And I have them. I don't know. Maybe I don't always keep score as well as you, or maybe a truck. But I got them 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position.
We will get a check on that.
Again, when the opportunity has presented them, and Albers got the double, then you got the next 2 hitters out.
They've only been retired in order in the 5th inning.
0 for 9 is worse than I thought. Or better than I thought.
Better.
Depending on which way you're looking at it, I suppose.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 7 have been left in scoring position in the ball game. 2-1 delivery on the way to Escobar. There's a Baltimore chop. Albers waiting. Oh. I got it. You got it. We don't got it. Escobar gets a base hit.
That's 2 tonight. The little pop fly the first time up. Fell when the ball went off Andino's glove. And right here, catch it. No. Nobody. It would have been a difficult play because Matt Wieters is going to have to catch it barehanded and in one motion, grab it and fling it accurately to first.
Had a pretty good chance for a base hit on that, fielded or not. Here's Bautista, walk, lined out, popped out. Still looking for his first hit in this series. Bautista's had an 0 for 6, and he's 0 for his last 8. The home run hitter has been held down so far. Hit number 6 on the board for Toronto. Albers' delivery to him, and a charge. That one foul. Pedro Viola in the bullpen. Viola if your name's Frank. Viola if your name is Pedro. 1 ball, 1 strikeout. Bautista. He's been hitting these towering fly balls and pop-ups in this series. Adam Jones with a runner halfway, 1 away. Let's take a look at this date in baseball. The Orioles figure in 68, Denny McLain, the first 30-game winner since Dizzy Dean did it in 1934. In 69, the Orioles clinched their first ever American League East title and got it done early. And in 1976, Dennis Martinez made his major league debut. 5 2/3 innings, no runs in relief. And special one, September 14, 87. Cal Jr.'s consecutive inning streak ended. His dad took him out. Ron Washington came in to play it shot after 8,243 consecutive.
By a manager. He was replaced by a manager.
Yes.
Ron now the manager down in Texas. That's a lot of innings.
That's a lot of baseball, sports fans. That's a lot of baseball. Vernon Wells, 0-1 count, 1 down. Runner on at first base, and that will be taken down low. Dennis Martinez, of course, was the first player from Nicaragua to appear in a major league game when he did it on this date in 1976.
El Presidente, that was his nickname. I think he went on to win more games, I think, than any Latin American pitcher in the history of baseball.
245 wins.
Which I thought Marichal had more, but I think he's just a tad. Of course, Ron is terrific, Hall of Famer. Might have had 243. I think Dennis with a couple more. Boy, could he throw the ball. And then he turned in to be one of the better pitchers that you've ever seen. And pitched a long time. I know I see him every year. He's working for the Cardinals in their minor league organization.
2-1 delivery in the air to center. This one he's going to send Jones back into that well, and he'll haul it in. Wells is retired, and there are 2 down. Runner back to first. Find the latest gear at the official online shop of the Orioles. Browse the largest selection of official caps, T-shirts, jerseys, and everything for the whole family. 24/7, you can do it from your home. Get your gear from the official source, the Orioles.com shop. Doug Showalter on his way out. Wants to give Viola an opportunity. This is a great chance to get the young pitcher into a ball game. You got a 9-0 lead. Keep the pressure off. Albers will lead. Runner on. 2 down. 8th inning. the score was closer. He gets a chance here with less pressure with 2 down and 1 on in the 8th inning.
And you get to see him match up against a lefty. Lyle Overbay will come to the plate. So again, a guy claimed on waivers on April 21st and pitched for the Reds last year. I mean, not a whole lot of times. 9 games? The word I got, maybe not throwing quite as hard as he did last year when he pitched for Cincinnati. But let's see what kind of breaking stuff he has.
Runner at first, 2 away. He'll face Lyle Overbay. And the fastball will be taken down low. He had 64 strikeouts in 62 innings pitching for the Bay Sox. His 10th Major League appearance, those 9 with the Reds. 1-0 delivery on the way, and that's going to miss down low. It's a waiver claim pitcher.
Well, if you're lefty and you can throw strikes and you can get left-handers out, you're going to hang around. And of course, you got to throw strikes.
2-0, 2 down. Overbay will take it inside, and Viola falls behind. 0 for 3 in the ballgame for Overbay, 0 for 7 in the series. On at first base, Escobar, who led the inning off with a single, 27-year-old out of the Dominican Republic. Delivers 3-0.
Well, they do have action behind him in the bullpen because, and I saw Earl Weaver do that. You bring a youngster in to get some innings, but again, Alfredo Simon has been struggling. Might be an opportune time to get him in if Viola can't get the lefties out.
3-1 delivery. Overbay makes it 3-2 on the foul ball.
And there is a tendency when you come in a little more direct pressure than you're used to because you want to do well. At the end of the day, you got to figure out a way to stay in really inside your windup and within yourself. That was what Ray Miller used to always say.
3-2, 2 down. So Escobar will be running on the pitch here. Viola to Overbay, then it's up high and he walked him.
And you can see from the windup, and mechanically he's not anywhere close to being perfect. Falls off, recoils a little bit.
Bear in mind, nobody is here by accident. There's a reason for every one of these players who's at this level. Sometimes it's to see what you got for next year. Sometimes it's to let others see what they might want for next year. But there's a reason. As Buck Showalter once said to me, you got to take a look before you throw him under the bus. Here's Aaron Hill. Hill is 0 for 3, and he meant that in general terms overall. Don't give up on players till you've had a chance to get some kind of an idea of what they can do rather than just listening to what others say.
And then they can, and it's funny when I saw him out at the ESPYs, we were playing in a golf tournament, and he was saying, okay, who are the players? The players, minor league guys and whatever, and so on and whatever, and that's what you want to find out.
Yep.
And a lot of times, when you get an opportunity, you throw yourself under the bus.
That's right.
That's just part of the unfortunate part of baseball.
Here's the 0-1 delivery on the way, and a check swing. He did not go around on it.
No, but a pretty good breaking ball. And this is, again,
close.
Yep. Either way, I think more of, hey, that was pretty good slider. And you got the result of a check swing.
1 ball, 1 strikeout. Runners off first and second. And that is going to miss away.
So again, you look at the radar gun and you look at the fact that it looks like he's got a closed stance, so he would be deceptive against lefties. You look at the velocity, but you got to be able to command all that stuff. That's what the big leagues is about.
Here's the 2-1 delivery. And that will end up as a souvenir. 16,589, 16,589 to get their Buck Showalter t-shirts and see the Orioles take their second in a row from Toronto. There it looks. with a 9-0 lead here in the 8th inning. Two on and two down. Escobar on second base, Overbay off first. Hill is 0 for 3. And takes the 2-2 and does take it. And the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So the runners with the advantage will be going. I don't have to say much there, dude.
Well, he's thinking Lynn's on deck. That's a lefty. He came in hitting 115. So he's saying, please throw a strike.
Here's the 3-2 delivery, and that one in the air to left field is hit deep. That is way back, and goodbye home run. Hill delivers a 3 RBI shot, and the Jays are no longer shut out. It is a 9-3 ball game.
Well, he's not going to get cheated. And again, this guy hit 36 home runs last year. Good fastball hitter, especially when it ends up in the middle of the plate, and he's all over it.
24th home run and 63 RBIs now for Hill with a .212 batting average.
And Gary, you've been around the game a long time, that when a good hitter like Hill, even though he's been struggling this year, a power hitter, gets to see 6-7 pitches, and then you throw in the middle of the plate, they usually got it pretty well timed.
And he certainly did on that one, as he drove it. His 13th career home run against the Orioles. Hill makes it a 9-3 ball game, still the great spread. Now the bases are empty, and Lynn coming up. He has doubled, 1 for 3. Lind, 230 on the year. He's had some months he just as soon forget. 195 in September. Hit 174 in May. Hit 156 in June. Ooh, a good ball player. Swung on and missed. He's just having a bad year.
Well, I was reading the Tampa Bay Tribune today, and Ben Zobrist for the Rays, who's had a terrific year last year, as did Adam Lynn, was saying, you know what, I started thinking about all the positive things, not working on my weaknesses. And I think what happens is that when you do hit 35 home runs like Adam Lynn, and the league adjusts, but you still got to remember what you do best. So just because they throw you a lot of breaking balls doesn't mean you have to chase them, or you got to getting away from hitting the fastball, because this kid can hit the fastball.
1-2 breaking ball is going to miss up high to him, and a 1-ball 2-strike count.
And I think a lot of young players sometimes when they get to the big leagues say, well, I got to perfect this, and this, and they forget why they got there.
Here's the 2-2 delivery, and a breaking ball that will bounce for Wieters to catch. And the count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3 runs in here in the 8th inning on the home run by Hill. 1 run will be charged to Albers, an inning and 2/3, a run on a couple of hits and a strikeout. Viola charged with the 2 others so far in the inning. 3-2 delivery, and that'll be fouled off outside of first base. For the Jays this year, shut out 7 times. They will not add to that. They will continue their home run streak. 16 consecutive ball games now in which they have had at least 1 home run. 3-2, 2 down. And got him on the off-speed pitch. So 3 runs in on a couple of hits, nobody left on. That makes it a 9-3 Oriole lead. Valley, Brad Bergeson takes the mound in the Major League debut for Kyle Drabek. Our coverage on MASN HD begins 6:30 O's Extra, presented by your local Ford dealer. Game coverage at 7. All the access you need right here on MASN.
Oh, there they are. Bergie trying to, get closer to the 10-win mark, and has pitched well as of late. And, of course, Kyle Drabek, former #1 draft choice, big part of the Roy Halladay deal. So, and again, those are his AA numbers at New Hampshire.
Felix PA, and that ball is going to be swung on and missed. Mike McCoy has come on to play in right field. So Bautista has come out of the ball game. Dwayne Wise will come on to play in center. Wells coming out of the ball game. And that's going to be fouled off. And the veteran, John McDonald, will come on to play at second base. And some of the veterans coming out of there, Wells, Bautista, and Hill. Casey Jansen on the mound. Jansen came on to get the final couple of outs in that big 7th inning. We're now in the bottom of the 8th. And PA stepping out. PA 2 singles, 2 RBIs, a walk and a run scored. He's also flied out. A solid night for him. Here's the 0-2 delivery. PA, the off-speed pitch, will miss outside, and the count goes to 1-2. Jansen, the 4th pitcher used. Sean Hill, the starter. 3 runs, 9 hits over 5 and a third. That one underneath the feet. Did not hit him. 2-2. David Percy, a couple of runs, 2/3 of an inning on a hit. Watch this one.
Oh, yeah. Skip rope. Great way to move feet. To throw at people without having people think you're throwing at them.
Ow.
Yeah.
4 runs in the ballgame charged to Josh Renicky. No part of an inning. 4 runs, 3 hits, and a walk.
And another cutter that he just fouls right off somewhere on the foot, right foot. Even though he's got the protective shield on there. Ankle shin guard.
2-2 strike count on him. And again, trying to get him to chase the off-speed delivery and won't. So Jansen takes the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And we'll foul that one straight back. Victory here by the Orioles. Their 57th win, and for Toronto, they'll only be a game above 500 if they lose this ball game. Those continue rolling along the final 2 months of this season with some impressive ball games. 3-2, and he walked him. So PA will lead off the inning with a free pass.
Jansen tonight, 21 pitches, 11 for strikes, 10 for balls. So cutters, little backdoor curveballs, and once again, PA disciplined at bat.
Nobody out, runner on. Here's Adam Jones. RBI single his last time up, 1 for 4 in the ball game, 3 hits and 7 at bats in the first 2 in this series. And he got that one left field at his back near the wall. Snyder, and goodbye, home run. Adam Jones with a 2 RBI shot, 11-3 O's.
Well, 1 shy of his career high, hit 19 last year. Watch this cutter get out of here. It just kind of comes back enough. You can see the movement right to left, and 2-run shot.
18 on the year.
It's kind of turned this game around because that base hit he got off of Renicky started a 6-run inning. Back into 7.
So Adam Jones, a 3 RBI game and a 2-hit ball game. He picks up the long ball. 11 runs on 14 hits. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Well, Adam came in 11 for 25 in September. So he now has 13 hits this month. And if you go back the last 2 years, because of injuries, hasn't really played much.
To third base. Too hard to handle. Encarnacion almost had his glove torn off on that one. Wieters is going to get his 3rd hit of the ball game. Encarnacion, it was right at him, but he just could not hang on.
Yeah, great angle right here, and it didn't appear that he saw it.
That's scary. For Matt Wieters, his 5th 3-hit ball game of the year, and 15 hits on the board. Still nobody out. Is Torres, a single, a walk, fielder's choice, and a fly ball out. He got one towards the gap, caught by Snyder. Runner halfway back. Orioles have released their schedule for the 2011 season. They will have a season opener at Tampa Bay as they did this year. The home opener on the 4th will be against the Detroit Tigers, who will be in for 3. 18th through the 28th, Minnesota, New York, and Boston in a tough stretch. The home interleague, Washington, Cincinnati, and the Cardinals. And ending against the Red Sox with a 3-game series. And it ends in September 26, 27, 28. This year it ends in October.
Right, and started, what, about the 6th, I think, of April was the Orioles' first game? Let's see, what was it? Actually, yeah, it was the 6th.
That ball is going to be a base hit into left field by Josh Bell. Wieters will stop at second base. Bell is on with his first hit of the ball game.
Yeah, 3 successive strikeouts reached on the air by Renicky, and then right here, inside out swing.
Next season, the Orioles will start, the season will start a week earlier, as the first game will be on April 1, Friday, April Fool's Day in Tampa Bay. Here's Robert Andino. Andino, a big bases loaded double, 7th inning. He's also single. A couple of hits and 5 at bats, 2 on. A 1-strike count and 1 down. Mike Scioscia has suggested that the season schedule be reduced to 158 games from 162, and that doubleheaders be played so as to not have to expand the season any further and make sure the World Series does not again have the possibility of going into November. Now, the reason Scioscia is talking about it matters is he's on the commissioner's 14-member committee that meets with an open calendar to suggest anything they want to the commissioner. And Scioscia's saying, let's play some doubleheaders. Let's get this thing down to 158 games.
More off days?
More off days and no day-nighters, which is what the owners aren't going to like.
Yeah, well, that's revenue. That started in Boston.
He said, Scioscia said, a split doubleheader doesn't hurt revenue, but they're much tougher for players. I'm fine with regular doubleheaders, but I'm not at all in favor of split doubleheaders. That in a story in the LA Times regarding Scioscia's comments and suggestions. 1 ball, 2-strike count. And that one will head up towards the stands. Foul ball.
Well, there it is. Again, offensive utopia. 16 hits. Everybody joins the party. Well, you can go back. Don't want to single anybody out, but they, just about everybody has had a nice night for the Orioles. PA with a couple of RBIs. That started it earlier. But again, Jones and even Andino at the plate. That bases clearing double in the 6-run 7th inning really turned this game around and gave them cushion.
2-ball, 2-strike count on Andino. The other thing Socha suggested in terms of reducing the schedule, he wants to see a 7-game division series.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
You've got to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's just I don't think you play 158, 162 as they do now and have it settled over 5 games.
No.
Or possibly 3 games.
Yeah. 2-2 delivery on the way, and that is swung on and missed. Casey Janssen will get the strikeout.
I never was fond of that. I mean, the first one we played in 1969 against the Twins. The Twins had an awfully good team, with Jim Perry. In fact, Jim Perry had a 3-2 lead. Boog Powell hit a 2-out home run in the 9th inning to tie it. One in the 12th inning on a 2-out bunt. McNally won the next day 1-0 over Boswell. And we could have lost this. We won 109 games that year. We could have been out like that. Especially if I had to pitch Game 3 in Minnesota down 2 games to nothing.
True.
That could have really got us hit the banana peel home.
Every team in the division playoff faces that. Here's Snyder coming on to pinch hit. Brandon Snyder last night got his first major league hit and RBI on this infield single. And a baseball to take home and keep forever. First and second here with 2 down. He's pinch hitting for Markakis. Nick had another big night. Home run, single, RBI. Casey Janssen carrying the load here and struggling to get the outs. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Orioles gave up the 3 in the top half and have gotten 2 of them back. Snyder, 1-1 delivery, and that will be taken down low. Simone in the bullpen has been up a couple of times, so he's ready to come on.
Yeah, Alan Dunn to his left, and in the Jacoby bullpen coach talking about things that they've been working with Alfredo to see if he can just start getting the ball down a little bit, finish his pitches. So it'll be kind of intriguing to see whether he can do that in the 9th, even if it is 11-3.
Snyder will foul that one back, and Janssen gets the count even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Orioles are prepared to join the National Football League as they have scored 11 runs in this game. So the Ravens need to catch up now. They're down 1. Still got the win, though.
Yes, they did.
The Jets, the Vikings, the Falcons are all down a couple now. They only got 9 points on the board. And the Cowboys and 49ers are well behind. Cowboys only got 7 and the 49ers 6. That one is grounded down to third base. Encarnacion will go to the bag, get the final out, but a couple of runs in. The Orioles do it on 3 hits. The big blow. Adam Jones is 18th of the year. 2 RBI homer. 11-3 to the 9th we go. Drive you back. It's on. So the Orioles 3 outs away from making it 2-0 in the series. They have the 11-3 lead. Go to the 9th inning. Alfredo Simone on to try and finish it up.
Yeah, been a little bit of a struggle. You can see early on was the Orioles closer, but again, 17 earned runs last 22 innings over 20 games. ERA all the way from 3.24 to 4.98. Really been hurt by the home run ball. 6 home runs last 11 games pitched. And again, talking to Alan Dunn, who, you know, the ongoing conversation is how can we get him to get the ball down and finish his pitches. I guess the other part of the coin is that, you know, this time last year, he didn't know if he's going to pitch again. So he makes Tommy John last year ago, May, back. Really made an amazing comeback. And
Snyder is going to stay in the ball game. Brandon will be at first base. And with Markakis out of there, Nolan Reimold will come on to play in right field. Tatum's going to do the catching with Wieters out. And the first pitch to John Buck, the opposing catcher, up high. Craig Tatum behind the plate.
And it's not been about velocity. It's been about, again, life on your fastball. First pitch in 96, but it was up.
Drilled foul.
So you just can't stay in that zone. And for some reason, you know, and again, maybe it's fatigue. Maybe it's the fact that, you know, the league's made a little bit of adjustment. But again, just doesn't have the bite on the two-seam fastball that made the difference early in the year.
1 ball, 1 strike delivery on the way, and it chased one away. Buck has a double, has struck out and been hit by a pitch in the ball game. The Orioles 11 runs on 16 hits. Jake Arrieta to pick up his 6th win against 6 losses. The Orioles starter, no runs, 4 hits over 6 innings. Sean Hill, in just his 2nd start of the year, will take the loss. He will be 0-2, since the Orioles have never trailed in this ball game. And that'll set up a chance for the sweep tomorrow night for the O's. Brad Bergeson against Kyle Drabek in the ball game. 2 ball, 2 strike count. And just missed.
Kind of appeared that ball might have gotten part of the strike zone, but doesn't get the call.
Buck with a 3 ball, 2 strike count. Center field. It's a busy night both ways in center. Adam Jones will put that one away. Bucks retired, 1 down in the 9th. Updating you on the voting for the AT&T Player of the Game. The results so far. You still have time to text in your vote, A, B, or C, to 51862. The results on the O's Extra post-game show.
Tough league. 6 innings, shutout ball. That'll get you 20% of the votes for starting pitchers. Wow.
Oof, tough.
But top vote gator, you know, Nick, popular guy on a 21 out of 22 games he's hit in now. 10 games, yeah, I guess. But
yeah, hey, you pitchers. Aaron Canaccio,
at least 35% of the vote. Something.
Okay.
There we go.
It's a cut on the ball not seen. He has struck out 3 times already in the ball game.
Well, he's not a good breaking ball hitter. You know, he's a real good fastball hitter. That's what he looks for. Gets the front foot down, and the slider appears to be, if thrown properly, like a fastball. There's a hanger, and there's a better swing at it. But
Tatum over, and no. That'll hop away. 16 hits tonight. 2nd most in a ball game this year. 3rd time that they've done that with 16 hits. Last done Saturday in Detroit. They have had 17 hits. The Orioles have 3 times. July 6 against the Tigers is the last time for that one. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Tried to launch it. Looks like it might stay in the yard. It will. PA. 2 down.
Yeah, Alfredo, that could have been 7 home runs in 12 games because he dropped down, tried to give him a different look, and ended up hanging a slider, and Encarnacion just missed it.
So the Orioles will improve their record to 8-5 here in the month of September. Their 2nd win against Toronto makes them 2-12, and they have won 4 series in a row for the first time since 2004. 1 out away from all of that. August 3 through 15, Seattle, Texas, and Anaheim, and Toronto. The last time they had the 4 series wins. That one bounced in a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Travis Snyder, a 1 for 4 in the ball game, a single. Hill with a 3 RBI homer in the 8th inning. Viola charged with 2 runs on a hit in a third of an inning. Albers a run over an inning and 2/3. Go to the bag, and the Orioles have won it. A put-away win in impressive style. 11-3. Arrieta's 6-6. Hill is 0-2. And the Orioles have set themselves up for a chance at a sweep of the Jays, a team they had not beaten this year before this series started.